Oh my goodness. It's 6:28. This is Citi Breakfast Show's 20th day of June. Learn how to dance. It doesn't have to follow rhythm, but it can glorify God. Every part of you must glorify God. Not just your voice, but also your body. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. My body is the temple of God. You must learn to move it. And you need a song like this to move you to give God praise. It's always an opportunity. Time is the currency of life. We are so blessed. We are already on the 20th day mark. We can make a difference at this time, in this place, using the power of radio to bring you change, to bring you wisdom, to bring you vision. And a big thank you to MOG for putting this one together. Hot praises. So let's get in. We start off with the Business Sense, brought to you by ADB, newspaper review, business news, sports, all in the first hour. So much to do within a day like this. We're still within the month of June, the Citi Business Festival. We are in our we're actually in our third week. And of course, we're talking about creative industry. And of course, the last week will be our focus on SME. Big conversation on Friday, moderated by Pioko. We're looking at the creative industry. All of that and more coming up this morning. Citi Breakfast Show. Starting off with ADB, the People's Bank, giving you a longer tenor of loan of up to 6 years. An offer open to customers as well. Call 0302-210-210 for more enquiries. Or visit your nearest branch. Ask about their personal loans to help you resolve your financial issues. When we come back, we jump into the newspaper headlines with Caleb Kuda and Richard De La Sky. But do you have a game-changing, innovative business idea or a project that can impact society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startup of the Year Challenge. We're looking for 3 winners: the best entrepreneur, the best project or innovative business idea, and the best project promoting or relating to sustainable and affordable energies. Don't wait any longer. Go to www.startupper.totalenergies.com. This is your chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. In the meantime, Fidelity Bank is also proud to be associated with a newspaper review. We are papsing real good, helping you send money to your loved ones or business partners across the continent of Africa and in Ghana cities. Don't wait for days for transactions to clear. No more expensive fees, just fast, secure, and affordable payments. PAPS is here with Fidelity Bank, making sending money very easy. When we come back, we look at what is trending in the news.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The
Today's what, Thursday?
Thursday, yes,
20th day.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? It's been a month since we
celebrated our
birthday.
birthday.
Wonderful.
Charlie.
Let me say happy birthday to the Chairman General.
Yes.
Kwame Sefakai.
Kwame Sefakai.
He's a big man. I was watching him when I was small.
Yes.
I'm still here. He's still there. He's a powerful guy.
Chairman General.
He was acting movie too.
That time his head was big and his body was small. But his body has caught up with his head.
Yeah.
Now, no problem.
With the power station, radio code.
Now, so from gold to peace.
Yes.
Big man. He used to host a show
Fine.
called Kaneu Wednesday morning around 8:30.
Talk and die.
Yeah, so that, they will
you.
open the phone lines and they'll call and they'll say ECG is not working.
Yes.
Like the way you are talking about road.
Yes.
They used to do the same thing.
Yes. Kaneu.
20 years ago.
Wow.
But here we did.
Still going strong.
So good morning to Kwame Sefakai. Happy birthday to him.
Yes, sir.
Let's jump straight into the headlines.
Yep. The Daily Guide says this morning, Ghana needs a visionary leader. That's according to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the Vice President seeking to become President of the Republic. Also, XC, which is the Supreme Court, upholds FDA's ban on celebrity alcohol ads. That's commendable decision. Don't restart Opuni trial. That's also from the Supreme Court. An election 2024, Haruna Muntaka missing in NDC campaign team.
Chronicle is big on Opuni this morning. Their headline story, Opuni sacked from Supreme Court, and Fifi Kwete heads NDC campaign team and Housing Ministry to dig into financial background of Saglemi bidders.
Let me take you to the ABC News. The search is over. It's NAPO NIB survey reveals. So this talking about the vice presidential nominee of the NPP. Also on the front page, election is about competence, ideas, and not religion or ethnicity. This is coming in from the chairman of the Christian Council. And then celebrities can't promote alcoholic drinks, according to the Supreme Court.
Bernard, Ghanaian Times, 7.3 million Ghanaians are poor. Statistical Service reviews. Sorry, on page 8 of Ghanaian Times, and NDC unveils 2024 campaign team. Fifi Kwete named campaign coordinator, and 86,000 printed passport booklets remain uncollected from passport office. Osafo Mafo is speaking, and on the back page, temporary reshaping of Nungwa Barrier Stretch Beach Road begins.
The Vanguard newspaper says Apia Ofori endorses Bawumia. PC Apia Ofori is here on the front page. It's been a long time since we heard from him. NPP MP slags it out with a Blakwa, comes with a photograph of Davis and so Opoku, MP from Priso. And then also there's some update here from the MPA, and there's nothing like Doomso. Napo assures power consumers. This matter where they talk every night, people they sleep in the darkness inside.
The new finder this morning, SNIT Hotels Rock City tops all, bids $61.2 million, exceeding $59.1 million valuation prize, and Saglemi bids to be received July 8. Napo leads running mate race in NIB report. Fifi Kwete, Yamin, Opare Ado, Professor Alabi, others lead Mohammed's campaign.
I take you to the Anchor newspaper. Energy Minister leads race in BNI survey as preferred candidate, secures 76.27% endorsement. Also on the front page, sale of SNIT hotels. Shrad formally begins investigation. And then lab professional strike cripples hospitals. Pregnant women, patients being turned away. And 2 private security guards arrested for wearing military uniform.
Business analysts, GIPC reforms to boost foreign investor confidence. Ghana's economy sees 4.7% growth in Q1. GSS report indicates an investment holders picket at Finance Ministry. And finally, Ghana's tragic saga of food inflation, empty plates and empty promises. This is Dr. Peter Boama Otokuno's piece.
And let me take you finally to the Daily Post newspaper. They lead with the NDC campaign team. Towards Mohammed's victory, NDC releases list of national campaign team members to conduct the party's 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Some of their photographs are here. Also on the front page, Mahama, I won't be a clearing agent like Akufo-Addo. And some other stories here. For instance, Kennedy Ejapong joining Bawumia rather takes a lot from his campaign. This is according to Professor Kobi Mensah, and some other stories on the front page.
Let's take you online. CitiNewsroom.com is leading with Nimoy Thompson. Ghana's revenue shortfall will deteriorate under IMF program. According to The Economist, he also says the program will do more harm than good to Ghana. In other stories, Joshua Labi says Baumia is no match for Mahama. He is the campaign coordinator for the flag bearer. And then Akufo-Addo extends Auditor General's appointment. And then
when they remove somebody from office.
Yes, and then SNIT Hotels allegations of Rock City losses are purely lies by the champion to a black one. In other stories, Napo's response to Dumso, an insult to Ghanaians, Edward Bauer says this, and Kenya introduces free electronic travel authorization for Ghanaians. So these are some of the stories on Citi Newsroom website. My Joe Online is leading with the Auditor General Akufo-Addo extending his appointment. He's called Johnson Ekuamwa. And a lot of stories on running mate issues. So let me give you about 3 of them. Baumia's choice of running mate more important than that of MPP. This is Professor Jampo. I'm not sure if I get the point. The Baumia's choice is more important than that of the MPP. So maybe saying that what the man wants is more important than what the party wants. Okay. Yeah. Other stories. Boko Prempe leads in NPP choice of running mate according to NIB survey. And Tewu Ghana threatens to scuttle meeting to elect new KNUST Vice Chancellor. We'll find out why.
True.
And then 10 companies have expressed interest in Saklami housing project, according to Kojo Ponkroma, who's the Minister for Works and Housing. If you go to Class FM, Akufo-Addo congratulates South Africa President on re-election. And then 2 more for Asiedu as Akufo-Addo extends his appointment. This is the Auditor General. Star FM's lead story, nominating disputed rep to KNUST Council can create unrest. Tewu Ghana won. So this tech story must keep an eye on it. Yeah. Meanwhile, National Film Authority issues warning to media houses over copyright infringements. Right? So you guys be careful. National Film Authority issues warning to media houses over copyright infringements. And then Oponi trial cannot start afresh. Supreme Court reaffirms Court of Appeal decision. All right. So, guys, where will you start from this morning?
Well, we have a number of stories, but what interests me has to do with the Supreme Court's decision regarding alcoholic drinks and whether you and I can be promoting things.
Well, then let's do Supreme Court, because there are a number of Supreme Court stories. They've also come up with something on the Opuni case.
Okay. So let me take you to page 3 of the ABC News newspaper, and it says that the Supreme Court has, by majority decision, upheld the Food and Drugs Authority's directive, which prevents celebrities from endorsing alcoholic drinks. Now, this brings an end to a highly publicized 19-man legal suit filed against the authority by the CEO of Black Culture Music, Mark Darlington Osai. Now, delivering an abridged version of the ruling at the Apex Court on Wednesday. It's not a ruling, it's a judgment. June 19, 2024, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu said the FDA's directive does not contravene the Constitution. This means that well-known personalities or professionals like Bernard Avler are perpetually banned.
Why are you inserting my name into the judgment?
Because you like Galamsey.
No, I don't. So, but this is a significant judgment because, by the way, it was 5-2. It was 5-2. So it wasn't unanimous, but majority anyway. Yeah. So if you are a celebrity, you cannot promote alcoholic drinks. Yes. This is very critical. Now, since we are in the Supreme Court, let me just give you another one. So, Opuni trial cannot start afresh. I don't know if you have that story.
Yes. So the Supreme Court, this is Chronicle. Supreme Court, by a unanimous decision, has dismissed Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni's prayers for the Apex Court to overturn the ruling of the Court of Appeal that his trial at the High Court should not start afresh. The 5-member panel did not only dismiss the appeal for lacking merit, but also affirmed the Court of Appeal's decision to set aside the ruling of the Accra High Court to start the 6 years trial anew. The members of the panel were Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, Justice Mariama Owusu, Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, Justice Enes Jewu, and then Justice Yao Dako Asare. So it gives you the background for the appeal and more details over here.
So those who are asking whether a celebrity was defined or not, the full judgment is not out. As the story said, the CJ read the abridged version. So when the full judgment is out, I'm pretty sure we will deal with this. Now, since we're talking about media, let me just give you a quick angle to this. National Film Authority is cautioning media houses over copyright infringement. So in a decisive move to uphold copyright laws within the Ghanaian film industry, the National Film Authority has issued a strict warning to terrestrial channel owners and media houses against the unauthorized broadcasting of movies. This announcement, articulated in a press statement signed by NFA CEO Juliet Santua Sante, underscores the legal and financial ramifications of copyright violations. Now, she will be on a panel on Friday at Alisa Hotel discussing these and other matters as we try and discuss the creative economy in a more meaningful way. The authority has directed all media houses to conduct thorough assessment of the films currently being broadcast on their platforms. Any movie found to be aired without the requisite permissions must be immediately pulled from the schedule until proper authorization is secured. And I think the discipline in our media is too much.
It's crazy, Bernard.
This is a very important thing.
They can release
And
the movie.
I hope she finds a way, or the authority finds a way to enforce this.
Yeah,
because there are, look, when we want to show maybe Christmas movies, we have to purchase and show. There are so many media houses that just take somebody's movie. Like they just go into a video library and just show it.
They can release the movie a week ago.
And it's on TV.
Yes.
It's not right. So I think it's a seminal one. Now let's come back to the second issue, which is what?
So there's Doomsaw also making the round. And the minister has been commenting on it. If you go to page 3 of the Vanguard newspaper, there's nothing like Doomsaw. Jacob Addison reporting says the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, commonly known as NAPO, has denied claims that there is load shedding ongoing in the country. Now, according to him, the unplanned outages are due to various factors, including increased pressure from residential areas that have become business hubs, causing overloads on lines and transformers. Now, this comment came after the MP for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dapamakpo, questioned the Minister of Energy on whether the Electricity Company of Ghana had been load shedding power in the past couple of weeks, leading to the power outages experienced by many consumers. Now, Dapamakpo asked if the answer is no, why the power outage then? In response, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh stated, quote, no, ECG is not undertaking load shedding. It goes on to...
By the way, ECG have said they will not give us a schedule. Meanwhile, Edward Bauer, a parliament MP for Bongo, has accused the minister of insulting intelligence of Ghanaians with his recent answer, as you read. Now, the energy minister, as you said, was questioned on the floor. During an interview with Umar Sanda Amadou, the ranking member on the energy committee in parliament expressed his discontent with the minister's approach, noting a lack of transparency in addressing the power sector issues. Now, dealing with Napo himself, the number of papers that are saying that he is the chosen one.
That's right.
Yeah. If you
I have that in the Finder newspaper this morning. Napo leads running mate race in NIB report. A recent report by the National Intelligence Bureau has revealed that Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, Minister of Energy and Member of Parliament for Menchia South, is the favored choice among New Patriotic Party members to be the running mate for the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign 2024. The report, which stems from an extensive nationwide survey conducted between June 12 and June 14, targeted 5,116 NPP delegates, including national, regional constituency and polling station executives.
There's an interesting angle here where Professor Jampo is saying that Baumia's choice of running mate is more important than that of the MPP, and I just wanted to bring that angle. So a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana has stated that despite the overwhelming support of the MPP members for Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh as running mate, their choice does not entirely matter. According to him, party officials will vote for the party in the general elections anyway, or regardless of who is chosen. As such, it's important for the flag bearer to choose someone he is comfortable with, who will complement him. He was speaking on a program called PM Express. The point I need to make though is, why is NIB conducting a survey into who the running mate of the governing party should be? Is that within their remit? You get me? Because the National Investigative Bureau, if they are going to constitute an investigation, it should be something that has to do with the nation's security. Well, this is a party's decision. I think we need to separate the party from the state.
But you can argue it both ways. I respect your view.
If you even go to the
reason could well be that, look, the person will most likely become Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
So
you want to investigate the person's background.
But should they no problem. But if that's done, should it be publicized in the way it's being publicized?
So it means somebody is being irresponsible.
Number two, if that's the case, did they do the same for the opposition party too?
Most likely.
Oh, you sure?
Trust me.
So why didn't they tell us?
That's the question. So somebody is...
Because it's a national security, not party security.
Yeah, that's true.
So they have to come clean on whether this is the standard thing they do and whether it's done across board. Because the way this is being used may be interpreted to mean that they may be even favoring one candidate.
Normally, these things are not for public consumption.
So how is it on all front pages?
So somebody is being most likely.
Yeah, but that's not right. Yep. We need to. Institutions must do what the law asks them to do. So we cannot trust in it. That's what makes a democracy work. We cannot be conflating rules in the name of. Yeah. Do you understand? So they need to come clean on this.
Yep.
Honestly.
The Daily Guide says this morning, Ghana needs visionary leader, according to Bawumia. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia believes that considering the state of the country, Ghana only needs a visionary leader to move us forward. Now, this, he said, would determine where Ghana or Ghanaians want the future of the country to be and carefully plan how to get there. That's according to a story by my good friend Charles.
Now, KNUST has a situation that I think we need to pay attention to.
Oh, I thought you would let me finish the
finish,
politics
please.
Story.
Yes,
There's
please
a story
do.
here about Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka not being in the NDC's manifesto committee. You know, Fifi Kwete, my former member of parliament, is leading the campaign team. But for some reason, Haruna is not there. And the story by Daniel Bampo in the Daily Guide says that ahead of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, the National Democratic Congress has unveiled its national campaign team, with some critical members of the party being left out. Now, this follows a functional executive committee meeting that finalized the team on Tuesday, June 18, 2024. Now, former minority leader Haruna Idrisu and former minority chief whip Mohamed Mubarak Muntaka were visibly missing from the list announced by the NDC General Secretary Fifi Fiavi Kwete.
Bernard, let me take you to the Ghana Statistical Service and then I'll take you to the Passport Office as well. Now, 7.3 million Ghanaians are poor. This is according to the Ghana Statistical Service. A total of 7.3 million Ghanaians, representing 24.3% of 30.1 million household population in the country, are multi-dimensional poor. That's according to a new report. Of the 7.3 million multi-dimensional poor, that is incidence of poverty persons, 3.2 million, representing 48.3%, experience severe poverty. Some breakdowns here. So we are told that females constitute 3.8 million, while males are 3.6 million. Now, the more than a third, that is 36.7% of persons living in rural areas were multi-dimensional poor.
Multi-dimensionally.
Okay.
Poor.
Okay,
I think that's an adjective. Yeah, I think that's what they need to say. Yeah. So that poverty, don't forget, usually poverty is about income, where they say you are living on less than $1 a day. Yeah. But the GSS has come with a more meaningful measure of poverty. You can be living on more than whatever amount a day, but lack access to health, education, sanitation. So this is a more meaningful measure, which I think is important. So 7 million, that's about what percentage of the population? That's quite a significant percentage of the population who are living in poverty. Now, before you come to the Passport Office, Dr. Nimoy Thompson doesn't think the IMF program will help us. He actually thinks it will do more harm than good, because our revenue shortfall will deteriorate another program. And he also says that the COVID period was a bonanza for the MPP in terms of mismanagement. Now, economist Dr. Nimoy Thompson has raised concern that the International Monetary Fund program in Ghana is having a detrimental impact on Ghana's economy, causing more harm than good. He painted a grim outlook, suggesting that the IMF intervention intended to alleviate the country's economic woes is instead exacerbating existing problems and worsening the crisis. In an interview on the Point of View, Dr. Nimoy Thompson predicted that Ghana is likely to re-enter an IMF program immediately after exiting it in 2025. So he says whoever wins, there's going to be an 18th or 19th program, because that's the way this particular program is designed. Very troubling indeed. Now, there's a passport story which I think you should read, but we need to give some nuance to. They claim that 86,000 printed passports are gathering dust at the Passport Office. I think Mr. Osafo was addressing Meet the Press yesterday, where he said 86,000 printed passport booklets are gathering dust at the passport offices across the country because applicants have failed to collect them. Now, he says, for example, there are 8,000 uncollected passports in the Takoradi office, 8,600 in Cape Coast, and 19,500 in Accra. Now, this may be true, but the point is that it's not that people don't want to go for their passport. What tends to happen is that sometimes somebody applies for a passport, and then for some reason he's not getting the passport. So they do a reprint. So he may go and ask for a reprint, and sometimes he may do 2 or 3 reprints.
For the same person.
I'm telling you.
It should be in the system that this thing has been printed.
Yeah, but it's locked. He can't find it.
Oh, no.
So
then it's not.
I have had people who have had passports that were probably issued in Accra, and then the passport was found in Kumasi or something.
That's wrong.
So the point, I'm just saying that while this 86,000 number is alarming, It does not mean that people don't want their passports.
Yeah, that's fair.
It could mean that some passports were duplicately printed. Some persons couldn't trace the original passports and requested for more.
Right.
And the ones that were originally printed were found elsewhere.
Okay.
So what they need to do is to do a proper audit of the passports, make an announcement, so that then they would either dispose of these ones or let us know exactly what the situation is.
I think
That's
they
a
need
very
proper way
important
of
detail.
managing
Yeah.
that
So he
particular
addressed
sector.
he was talking at a media briefing on an update on public sector reform for results project.
Yeah, and this is a World Bank funded project. It's worth 30 million US dollars. Initially worth 30 million, scaled down to 24 million.
Yeah, because Mr. Safmafu said that we should research and ascertain why people are anxious to apply for passports and later refuse to collect them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that there's a missing angle to this. People will not go and queue for passport and not go for it. There's clearly either duplication or the passport gets lost in translation.
There should be a way of resolving that with technology. Track where the passport is so that it's possible to.
Now,
reduce things like
I wanted to go to tech, but let me come to you first.
Yes, so there's a story here about Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa's pursuit, of justice against his former senior. Now, the story says Shraj formally begins investigation into sale of SNIT hotels. This story is on page 5 of the Anchor newspaper. 2 paragraphs from that story. The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, has commenced investigations into the proposed sale of Social Security and National Insurance Trust's majority stake in 4 hotels. Now, the constitutionally mandated body is said to have written formally to the petitioner and Member of Parliament for the Norton constituency, Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa, management of SNIT, the Food and Agriculture Minister, Brian Achampong, and others named.
Now, Tewu is threatening to scuttle a meeting to elect KNUST Vice Chancellor. This is a serious story.
Why?
It's on both My Joy Online, it's also on Star FM.
we beg.
Members of KNUST branch of Tewu, which is the Tertiary Education Workers Union Ghana, have announced plans to disrupt a university council meeting to elect a Vice Chancellor if representatives from the rival group Tewu TUC are allowed to participate. So there's a new group called Tewu TUC or Tewu TUC. The two associations have had their membership in the 12-member council suspended pending the outcome of a suit at the Kumasi High Court. Now, so there's Tewu Ghana and there's Tewu TUC. However, Tewu Ghana claims there are attempts to allow Tewu TUC reps into the University Council. Now, Tewu Ghana broke away from Tewu TUC in June 2022, garnering 866 out of the 1,060 existing members. So it means there are like 200 members left in the other one. Since 2019, the Teachers and Education Workers Union has had no representation on the University Council at KNUST. Now, Section 7 of the KNUST statute mandates that the University Council shall include a rep of the Teacher and Education Workers Union. But because of this dispute, they have not no representation. Now, the one group is alleged another group has been smuggled into the thing. So they'll go and cause confusion there. So we are begging, Tech, this is not the time for this. They should resolve this matter. Minister
Very
for
important.
Employment, Minister for Education.
Yeah.
Please go and help resolve this issue.
But just 2 quick stories. Investment holders picket at Finance Ministry. Locked up investment holders from yesterday picketed as the Finance Ministry after the ministry failed to follow through on its promise to engage the group. The investors who had petitioned the ministry to secure assurances for the release of their funds locked up in defunct finance houses said they have been left with no choice but to protest. And if you go to Chronicle page 12, there's a very sad story here. 2 buildings and they are dilapidated. We are told they are supposed to be housing teachers. So the chief of Abutia Pota is appealing to government and organizations to help provide accommodation for the teachers. Because of the poor accommodation facilities, a lot of teachers are not accepting posting to the area and it's affecting the quality of teaching and learning. So
Finally,
Charlie is appealing.
Kenya has introduced free electronic travel authorization for Ghanaians. So if you want to go to Kenya, it's much easier now.
I need some time off.
Abontin.
Hey,
Yeah, so
Abontin father.
Yeah, I want to go to the carnival.
Thank
You
you.
want to go to where?
The carnival.
Where is that?
It's in Kenya.
The carnival.
Yeah.
To chew meat.
Allah.
But meat is not good. Chew grass.
Do you have a game-changing and innovative business idea or project that can impact the society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startupper of the Year Challenge. This year, we are looking for 3 winners. The best entrepreneur, also called the InnovUp winner. The best project or innovative business idea that exemplifies the principle of recycling and minimizing waste, also called the Cycle Up winner. And the best project that promotes or relates to sustainable and affordable energies, also called the Power Up winner. And that's not all. 4 additional projects in the Power Up category will be selected by an international jury. Don't wait any longer. Apply at www.startupper.totalenergies.com for a chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Terms and conditions apply.
My body, when you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go
energize your vehicle. We're giving you more options to take you further. So watch this space for the new choice that we'll be announcing. Go, yeah, dear. If you're looking for a smarter and more convenient way to stay connected, it's time to live seamlessly with MTN's eSIM. No need to carry multiple phones around, because with MTN eSIM, you can have multiple numbers linked to just one smartphone. Dial star #06# to check your phone's eligibility. Download my MTN app or visit the My MTN website to request for your eSIM. You can also visit any of our service centers nationwide to get easy hands-on assistance. Go seamless with MTN eSIM for convenience and seamless connectivity. And of course, Access Bank has partnered with PAPS to make your transfer of money to other African countries much easier. Call our toll-free number 0800 004 for more information. Access Bank, more than banking. Kickoff is next with Lesheho. If you're ready to power up your finances and unlock your path to prosperity, this is your chance. The Lesheho fixed deposit solution is your best option. You're not just investing, you're making your money work harder for you. Don't settle for average returns. Join the investment revolution with our fixed deposit solution and take charge of your financial future. The clock is ticking. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Invest wisely. Invest with Lesheho. And of course, with Shell Helix, our Ultra Zero W20 SP provides unsurpassed wear and sludge protection, leaves your pistons cleaner than a whistle by up to 50% more than the industry standard, and enhances the fuel economy. Premium does roll best with premium, and Shell Helix Ultra SP 0W20 is the one for your premium car. Bernard, a big quarter.
What's good morning?
How long can you mention your Bernard? It's like how many seconds?
I have not calculated.
Bernard,
a big word.
It's too long. But you're the meaning of the name Bernard, by the way.
Yes, that's for boldness.
As bold as a bear.
Yes, that's it.
I'm not very bold these days. So.
Oh, say why?
The economy has made me, the economy has made me timid.
That one is true. Welcome aboard to kick off right here on the Citi Breakfast Show. I am Bernard Bakewood. You're coming up in the next 10 minutes.
Musiala, Mittelstadt, Fulkrug to the back post. This is Gundogan! Disappointment for Hungary, who had such high hopes coming into the tournament, but have been beaten here in Stuttgart today. Musiala continues to shine.
Germany became the first team to qualify for the last 16 of the Euro 2024 after beating Hungary 2-0 in Stuttgart. We will review the games from yesterday, plus a lot more coming up in the Euros later today. All of that plus some local news right here on 97.3 Citi FM. We start off with some swimming today, and the meet of champions for this season is slated for the weekend of June 22 to 23, 2024, and will be hosted at the Boteman Aquatic Center, the same location that hosted the African Games earlier this year. The event will bring together 167 athletes from 12 clubs across the nation. This meet marks the culmination of a rigorous 9-month season featuring a 2-day competition where top 8 swimmers in each event will compete for individual accolades and contribute to their team's quest for the prestigious title of Best Swim Team of the Year. More of this in our subsequent news. Let's do some football stories. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko's head coach Dr. Prosper Nateogum has expressed his disappointment over his team's inability to get more wins in a just-ended league season. Speaking at the end of season presser, Dr. Prosper Nateogum bemoaned the lack of more home wins, considering league champions FC Samatex 1996 won 16 of 17 home games en route to lifting the trophy.
What we wanted to achieve, we couldn't achieve in terms of performance on the field, in terms of results on the field. I thought we fell below expectation. That's why I'm saying it was unpleasant, especially some of the games that we lost and drew at home. These were games that typically of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, we shouldn't have lost or drawn, but then that was what happened. And actually, if you look at these games, they are the very games that couldn't let us win the trophy. We lost so many games at home, and then we drew so many games at home. And you know, the joy of the fans, especially, is at Baba Yara, where when you win, the crowd become excited, the ambience around them becomes so great. But then, because we're not winning at Baba Yara, it made the whole thing unpleasant.
Dr. Prosper Nantelgumis, the head coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, have gone on to terminate the contract of 7 more players, bringing the total number of departures to 18. This follows Tuesday's announcement that the club had departed or had parted ways with 11 players, including long-time goalkeeper Ibrahim Danla. To some amputee football now, and the president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean, has discussed the future of the national team as a Black Challenge following their consecutive victories at the amputee AFCON, with the most recent in Egypt. The Black Challenge will next take part in the upcoming World Cup in Turkey, with a date yet to be determined.
We will reorganize and focus on the next stage, which is the World Cup. But what will form the greatest of motivation is for the ministry and the government, for that matter, to look at the consideration of what will motivate other athletes to join and beef up the squad, and also for the current squad to be more motivated to represent the country. I think that there are a lot of opportunity out there for them, and we as leadership will do our best to assist in making sure that Ghana retain and Ghana is maintained as the champions of the continent, at the same time to target the trophy of the World Cup.
Samson Dean is the president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee. Away from there, let's move to Europe. Off with the final game in Group A yesterday, and Switzerland moved within touching distance of a place in the last 16 as Sheldon Shaqiri's stunning strike and a 1-1 draw against Scotland. With results even in Cologne, the Swiss sits in second place in Group A with 4 points, just 2 behind Germany. Here's Scott McTominay after the game.
For me, it's incredible. It's such a joy to play with him, because he's someone who can do the unexpected in every single situation, and such a difference maker for our team. Maybe, the most important one at the moment for us in such a young age as well, especially when it comes about creating, or getting the ball, take-ons, giving the final pass, scoring goals, which he added now to his game as well, which is very important for someone playing in such an offensive position. And I love him. He's such a complete player and such a nice guy as well, very humble. And if he keeps doing his thing, the way he's doing right now, he can be one of the best.
Away from Scots, Jamal Musiala and captain Ike Gundogan scored to secure a second straight win in Group A for Germany. Julian Nagelsmann's men can wrap up top spots when they play Switzerland in Frankfurt in their final group fixture on Sunday. We hear from Germany's skipper Ike Gundogan on his teammate Jamal Musiala.
Well, of course, that depends on whether they stay with what they did, because, Kasper's an excellent coach, and he could quite well tweak certain things for each game. That's the way the game is now. So yes, we look at that game, but we look at the previous games as well and all the permutations that might happen. But of course, we have to try and be as clear as we can with the players. So Denmark have normally been adaptable with him. I like how they play. I think the character of the players. Through the last Euros, I grew more, I've always been an admirer of Danish football, but this group I have huge admiration for the way they dealt with everything in the last Euros and the leadership that they showed as a group, the mentality they had as a group. And so with a lot of respect going into the game. We know we have to be at our very best to get a win.
Well, Albania came from behind to salvage a potentially pivotal draw against Croatia in their first ever meeting, leaving both sides on 1 point with UEFA Euro 2024 progression hanging in the balance ahead of Group B's final round of fixtures. Later today, the fun continues in the Euros. In Group C, Slovenia up against Serbia at 1 p.m. and at 4 p.m. it's Denmark who face England. Here's England's boss, Gareth Southgate.
I'm 45 now, watching football for a long time and watching football a lot. And I think there's been an era where everybody looked at the Barcelona side of Xavi, Iniesta and Messi. The rivalry there was between Real Madrid with Cristiano Ronaldo being there. And I think when that came to an end, the new...
Well, of course, that depends on whether they stay with what they did, because, Kasper's an excellent coach and, he could quite well tweak certain things for each game. That's the way the game is now. So, yes, we look at that game, but we look at the previous games as well and all the permutations that might happen. But, of course, we have to try and be as clear as we can with the players. So, Denmark have normally been adaptable with him. I like how they play. I think the character of the players... Through the last Euros, I grew more, I've always been an admirer of Danish football, but this group, I have huge admiration for the way they dealt with everything in the last Euros and the leadership that they showed as a group, the mentality they had as a group. And so with a lot of respect going into the game, we know we have to be at our very best to get a win.
Well, the final game for today is at 7 p.m. at the Veltins Arena. Spain is up against defending champions Italy. To some, club football and Liverpool fans are going to be excited with this news because Arne Slot has given fans a hint of what they might expect next season, saying his football style has been inspired by the rivalry between his predecessor at Anfield, Jurgen Klopp, and Manchester City's boss Pep Guardiola. Slot left final at the end of last season to replace Klopp, who spent 9 years at Anfield, and the Dutchman has now given his first club interview at Liverpool.
I'm 45 now, watching football for a long time and watching football a lot. And I think there's been an era where everybody looked at the Barcelona side of Xavi, Iniesta and Messi. The rivalry there was between Real Madrid with Cristiano Ronaldo being there. And I think when that came to an end, the new rivalry in European football came because of Jurgen. He managed Liverpool and Pep Guardiola, of course, managed Man City. And I think for everyone who loves football, was a fantastic era to watch the both of them getting the best out of each other. And I've seen a lot of games of Liverpool, a lot of games of City as well. And when you live in Europe, the Premier League is probably the nicest league to follow. So he's done a tremendous job over here. And I'm really happy with that as a fan. But now as his successor, I think his successor, we would say. Yeah. He left, like I just said, Liverpool in the best possible way, I think. So very good team. Fans are very good as well. So looking forward to it.
One last. Well, Aston Villa have agreed a deal with Chelsea for left-back and Maatsen. The fee for the 22-year-old is understood to be between £35 million and £40 million and will rise with add-ons. Maatsen will sign a 6-year deal at Villa Park with personal terms not expected to be an issue. In tennis, Andy Murray will undergo a scan which will determine whether he plays at Wimbledon after he was forced to retire with an injury at Queen's Club. That's your sport this morning on the Citi Breakfast Show. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Shell, Leshell and Zonda. There's more sports stories when you log on to citisportsonline.com. I am Bernard Abeku. Sports is life. Get involved.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
If you need
financial solution. We deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's share go, we improve your life. Let's share go, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to let's share go. No matter your situation, come to let's share go. Let's share go, we improve your life. Let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's share go, we improve your life.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Eid Mubarak. Celebrate this Eid al-Adha with joy, love, and the perfect gift from Samsung. This Eid, we are offering incredible discounts and bundle freebies on selected phones in the A-series in shops nationwide. Whether you are connecting with family far away or capturing precious moments from the celebration, we have the perfect phone at the perfect price. From stunning display to high-speed performance, these deals are too good to miss. Whether for yourself or for those you love, this Eid, give the gift of connection and technology. This year, with a change inside, so you can enjoy discount on the Samsung Galaxy A05 and A15, 100 and 150 CDs respectively. This offer is from 5th to 22nd June 2024. Samsung wishes you all Eid Mubarak.
It's not just a service station. It's a place you get more for every visit. It's not just a place to fill your tank. It's a place to fulfill your cravings. From chicken to chocolate, caramel or the tasty latte. It's not just a place to service your car. It's the perfect place to wash your ride. It's a place where convenience, love, friendship, joy, and laughter assemble. Because it all starts at Shell. Visit Shell today and enjoy a wide array of services and offers under one roof. It starts at Shell.
In a world that's constantly changing and evolving, creativity is more important than ever. It is the key to adapting to new challenges, seizing new opportunities, and creating a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. Get ready for the Citi Business Festival Creative Entrepreneurship Forum on the topic, Exploring Creative Business, Transforming Your Passion into Revenue. Join Apioko and her expert guests as they discuss how to explore creative business. The date, Friday 21st of June 2024. The time is 10 a.m. Venue, Alisa Hotel, North Ridge, Accra. Kindly call 0205-973-973 to register to participate. The Citi Business Festival 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Absa Bank and is sponsored by MTN Business, Gersol, AMG Fertilizers, Insano Limited, and Agri Impact Limited.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 1 kg Lily White Sugar, only 27 cedis, 99 pence worth. And 1 liter Crystal Valley Full Cream or Low Fat Milk, just 24 cedis, 99 pence worth each. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 23rd June, only at ShopRite.
I am Ohinere Gifty Auntie. You see, it always feels good when you receive that salary alert. I made a bold decision to invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. And this means that I will get these alerts every month throughout retirement for the rest of my life. You too can retire on your own terms. So invest a lump sum in the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and enjoy guaranteed monthly income for life. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit oldmutual.com.gh to sign up today. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi 97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi 973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi 973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Things on the program.
Please. Today marks another giant milestone in your life, a life so full of God's grace and mercies. At least I've spent half of your years with you, and somehow with every birthday you seem to be growing younger and more beautiful all over, and your love never fades. May this added year bring you more fulfillment in every way. Happy birthday, my queen. I love you, my Abba and Chiba. And this is coming from Kofi Agama to Mrs. Kate Abba and Chiba Agama, head of TXB Stanbic Bank Ghana. Happy birthday to my lovely wife Angelina Afiafa Mensah of the Office of the Stool of Lands in Koforidua. As you celebrate this day, may the Lord open new doors in your life. From your husband Frank at Koforidua Passport Office. I love you always.
Office of Stool Lands, not of Lands.
Office of Stool Lands. Thank you. Happy birthday to Kezia Amwako and Nuruddin Ali of the Audit and Assurance Department at Deloitte, Ghana, from your country managing partner Daniel Kwejo Owusu and all staff. Please, happy birthday to Mr. Kelvin Titi Katano of La and communication member of NDC.
All right, happy birthday wishes coming from the 1974-year group of the St. Mary's Old Girls Association, popularly called the Princesses. They are sending birthday wishes to Princess Joanna Kofi of Anya, and they wish her good health and strength. And I'd like to say happy birthday to my classmates from Accra Academy, Anis Mokhtari. Anis Mokhtari, aka the Papacy. Anis, happy birthday to you. I wish you the very, 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 very best.
This one we did much earlier, but let me do this one for Patricia Megashi, a seasoned broadcaster, who says, I hope you guys are doing well listening to you. Bonjour. Kindly wish Kwame Sefa Kai a happy birthday for me today. So, thank you so much. Wishing
and
you
also
all
happy birthday to one of my favorite twins, Ebenezer Amankwa of Talo, Ghana.
Benny Max.
His twin brother Emmanuel Amankwa, creative director at Innova DDB.
I see.
Great gentlemen, Tesano boys, who have grown to become great Christian gentlemen.
Have you seen them together before?
I know them.
Okay.
As for me, I know them very well.
Okay.
You can't. I know the difference.
I know that.
So Ebenezer used to work with us many years ago, and Emmanuel also in the system. So happy birthday to Ebenezer.
Very much.
Amankwa.
No, be Mr. Me.
Yesterday was the birthday of our colleague Fred Duho. So good one going to Fred Duho, City News.
We actually gave him a request. We did that. So it's 7:42 on the Citi Breakfast Show. A lot of things coming up for discussion this morning. But before we jump into those, let's
Bernard,
get into
it's difficult to keep good news to yourself, and especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, and this year we are even lower. Yes, Tisubium, are you an SG Ghana customer or on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll? Then the time is now to get the money you need to turn your dreams into reality. Visit any of our branches near you and speak to our dedicated staff about the amazing Tisubium loans available today. You can call us on 0302 214-314 for more details. Offer now runs till the end of June 2024. T's and C's apply. SG Ghana, the future is you. Are you ready for your kids to supercharge their future? Join Nyansapo Institute's STEM Bootcamp and unlock a world of opportunity. We dive into artificial intelligence, 3D design, coding, and more skills that top employers are looking for now. You master the technology that is shaping tomorrow's world, and US-based expert Michelle Amoako, a mechanical engineer specializing in systems and software engineering, will be taking your children who are 10 and above through this from August 12th to 31st this year. So call us on 053-711-7334. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Nyansapo Institute, we are coding, engineering, and design. Where coding, engineering, and design meets opportunity. And seeking advanced medical treatment abroad doesn't have to be stressful and overly expensive. Let Nexus Global Services Limited lead you to over 100 top doctors and hospitals in Turkey to experience high quality care at unbeatable prices. Whether it's knee replacement, kidney transplant, obesity surgery, just name them. Nexus Global Services Limited will make your journey smooth and your wallet happy with budget friendly options. Locate our office at Chris Port Hospital in Dome, Parakou, or visit us at www.nexusgsl.com. Call us 0539 659 259 to begin your healing journey today.
Now, we all need water. It's a crucial element for human survival, and our bodies are made up of averagely 60% of water, and which is needed for various body functions and operations. Stay hydrated with standard water. If you want a lot of that to buy, call 0205 055 703 or 0547 334 385. Standard water, Mifiliu. Now, if you want to go on a lovely trip to Malaysia and Singapore, then speak to the good people at Global Wings Travel and Tours, because this September from the 9th to the 18th, they are taking you to see amazing things in Singapore and Malaysia. Call 0553 688 398 or 0550 188 181 to find out more. Escape the hustle and bustle and find your sanctuary at Death Tracker Woodlands, a master plan gated city in Dowenya, just a minute's drive from Central University. And it covers a wide expanse, 592 acres of land. You get to enjoy wonderful amenities because the place is laid out and things are where they should be. Call them on 0208 732 302 or visit woodlands.deftracogroup.com for more info.
Hey, what's on my mind? I'm concerned about a lot of things. State of pensions, state of organized labor, their muted involvement in these they are very important conversations around our pensions, in the sense that the sale of the so-called SNIT hotels to what's the name of the hotel?
Rock City.
Rock City. There are many issues. Okay, so of course, typically we focus on the politics. All right. So the issue of a politician, a minister of state, whose company is buying these hotels, the process that it went through. These are very important, legitimate concerns being raised. And I really hope that Siraj gets to the bottom of the matter, because on the face of it, it seems odd that a minister of state's company would buy fully, right, 4 or 5 hotels. Of course, he argues about the process it went through and all the rest of it. So on one level, I feel like the discussion has not been thoroughly done because it's been driven by politics. Okay. That does not necessarily reduce the salience of the issues being raised. Number 2, I feel like because these are SNIT hotels, there should be a more broad-based conversation about this. And I'm a bit disappointed with the way, I think the silence of the TUC. I find they've made some noise and petitioned the president. 2 days ago, the demonstrators also petitioned the president. Okay. But now, of course, 20 years ago, SNIT was the only person managing our pension funds. So there's a lot more interest in what they did. Now we have tier 2 and tier 3. So they are now private pension funds. So for example, somebody like you, some of your money is managed by SNIT. Some of it is managed by either Axis or Petra or some other pension. So we've diversified, which is good. But I still think that workers of Ghana have not said much about what they think. There's been a lot of, and the other point I need to make is that SNIT has been a big issue. Komla Dumo, SNIT, big discussion about the organization, whether it's too large, whether it's a wasteful organization, their investment philosophy. Basically what happens is that you work, and by law, you are supposed to pay a certain amount of your salary to a pension fund manager who will invest it in a mix of assets to ensure that when you retire, you will have a pension. All right. So workers must be interested in who manages their pension funds and what the money is used for. Workers must be interested in that. So SNIT has been very transparent in everything it does, because it's doing everything not as a company that's running its own affairs. Even companies that run their own affairs, they are regulated by the laws of the land, and they are subject to the restrictions of those laws. So much more interest in SNIT is legitimate. Okay. So whatever SNIT does, its investment philosophy, its investment guidelines. So whether it decides to buy shares in a bank, buy stake in a hotel, buy shares in a national stadium, or
real
estate, invest in housing projects, whether it decides to put some of our money in government of Ghana bonds, whether it decides to put our money in buying treasury bills in the short term, investing in equities like buying shares in MTN. These are very important matters that must be both competently managed and transparently overseen. Number 2, the workers of Ghana have to have a say. They have representation on the SNIT board. So when there's a brouhaha over sale of some SNIT hotels to a company owned by a minister, I think the workers, the what do you call it, the TUC people, I find their position quite funny, because you have a member on the board. So and this is a board decision. Throughout the discussion, we are told this is a board decision. In fact, when the outgoing MD was exiting, he said that they have begun the processes of bringing private sector participation into SNIT hotels to enhance viability. Now, if you want to enhance their viability, is that to mean that you will still have some interest in the hotels, and therefore when the hotels make profit, workers will benefit? Or you are selling them off? How do you enhance viability? Are you selling it all off? What was the view of the worker rep on the board on the decision to sell? The processes that were gone through, how transparent were those processes? Okay. Generally, what is the SNIT investment guideline? What directs their asset allocation choices? What is their asset allocation policy? Is TUC aware? Is TEU aware? Is NAGRAT aware? Are health workers aware? Is the media aware? SNIT doesn't act on its own, it acts for us. Okay. Even the noise, fine, Okucheto Blackwell is an MP, he's a politician. So he says he's intercepted documents, he's raising issues of conflict of interest and all those. He's gone to SHAS. Very important. SHAS must do their job. But I feel we fail ourselves in Ghana because we allow the politics to drive the discussion. That will not end well. The discussion must be driven by the interest of workers, the policy around investment. There must be good governance discussions around this, led by the workers. Because it's workers who, and in fact, it's not just formal sector workers, because now SNIT has also embarked on a drive to bring they call it SEED, the self-employed people, to now also contribute to SNIT so they can have a pension. You just read a story that 7.8 million, 3 million Ghanaians are multidimensionally poor. You have that, and you have a large informal sector of people who don't contribute to SNIT. Okay. So the viability of SNIT and the payment of realistic pensions is a very core discussion to the issue of poverty, to the issue of dependence. Because when people who are retired don't have a good pension, there's something called the dependency ratio. The average income in Alaka Pioko is not only looking after her 2 kids, she's also probably going to have to pay if her parents are alive and are not in a good pension. So it's a discussion all of us must have. And I really want to say that, of course, when politics leads a discussion, people don't want to enter. So, for example, if I call the investment manager of a private pension company and I say, I want to put you on a Citi Breakfast Show to discuss the SNIT issue, they will say no.
True.
Because if they speak against it, they are NDC. If they speak for it, they are MPP. So this is how, so you see, a society that wants to advance, in some societies will say, okay, Professor Kofi Mensah has been doing research on pension fund companies globally, and he has a view on the SNIT matter. He writes an article. Then the media will put him on. Then they call somebody who's also worked at SNIT for 30 years and retired, and he will give the philosophy of why SNIT has been doing the things they do. Then we'll deal with somebody who has done diverse teacher before to look at the processes for diversity. I talked to a lawyer. All these people exist in Ghana, but none of them will speak. So we do Brian Ablakwa, they will speak. Sky will come and laugh at us and say, seconds are fighting. You get it? So at the end of the day, society loses. Whether what is happening will help us or not gets obfuscated in the dust of partisan politics. And it's not fair. It's not fair. We need to do better. So I'm going to go back to the issues and try and take them one by one. I feel like even the whole issue of where our pension funds are invested, I want to make it easy for you. Let's assume you earn 5,000 cedis. And let's assume 13% of that must go into your pensions. A certain percentage goes to SNIT, a certain percentage goes to, say, Axis or Petra. you must be interested in where they are putting your money. Now, if some of the money they put went into something that got a haircut last year, some of your pension is compromised. So that's why workers were up in arms when the government said they were doing haircut. Because if they put a sizable chunk, now by law, there are guidelines that pension fund managers have to use to invest your pensions. The MPRA regulates this. So, for example, by convention, a lot of the pension funds, about 70% of their assets are in government of Ghana instruments, whether bonds or equities. A bond is basically you lend money to government pays you. There's short-term one, long-term. So you can lend money to government for 15 years, lend money to government for 10 years, lend money to government for 5 years, lend money to government for 1 year, 6 months or 3 months. Yeah. Anything below 1 year is called treasury bills. So that's short-term. There's 5-year bonds. There's 10-year bonds. And there are different instruments. There's government of Ghana paper. There's corporate bonds that companies can also go and borrow. I'm making this very easy for you. Then there's also equities. So you can decide that instead of simply lending money to government, the government will pay you back. So that's called the money market. You lend money to government, government pays you back money. There's also what is called the equities market, where you can then go to the stock exchange and say, okay, MTN is doing well. So SNIT can say we are going to buy 10% of MTN because MTN shares may be selling at 2 cedis per share, as an example. If in 2 years' time the share price goes to 8 cedis, you are going to get capital gains. Yeah. So that 2 becomes 8. So if you bought 200, it multiplies by 8. But then MTN can also declare profit. When MTN declares profit, we say they shouldn't repatriate all their profit. If SNIT owns shares in MTN declares a profit, they announce a dividend, a share of the profit. They divide the profit among their shareholders. So if they get 100, your 20%, you get 20. So then SNIT is adding value to your... So that dividend they get goes to say, oh, by the time Caleb is an old man, you see where I'm going?
True.
Good. Most people in Ghana don't know this. And I don't think our labor unions are taking this as seriously as they ought. Why am I saying this? Do a cursory, and I'll end on this point because I know after this, do a cursory dollar-denominated return of all our investments. So we know where our pension funds are invested, whether by SNIT or by private pension companies. We know the percentage they give to equities and the percentage they give to bonds, the percentage they give to long-term and short-term, the percentage they invest in real sector. That's why SNIT to invest in, say, the Emporium. Because SNIT's idea is not just immediate financial return, but a long-term that will give more money. Yeah. Now, if you put all those returns, so let's assume they have 100 cedis and they invest 80% of that in government of Ghana equities and bonds, and 20% of that in hotels. That 80, let's assume even in 5 years, they get 10% on the 80. That money they get, when you now run it against the value of the dollar, so that money they get, in dollar terms, that money will lose a lot of its value because of currency depreciation. Now, if SNIT or Axis or whoever had put that money in, say, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, say for example, even if Alphabet only gives them a 2% return per year, in dollar terms, that 2% is strong because it's dollars. Yeah. But in cedi terms, so you buy government of Ghana bonds, you're taking a haircut. Even if you don't take a haircut, you can even get 10%, 20%, 15% over the past 5 years. Now, when you take that money, in dollar terms, you've lost. Yeah. Because let's assume you had 100 cedis. Yeah. What the 100 cedis could buy 6 years, so let's say 2021 August, it was 6 to the dollar. Now it's 15. Yeah. So even if you get 200 cedis, which at the time could have given you times 2 of the dollar, because it's now 15, it's lower. Now, these are very grave issues that we need to discuss objectively in the public sphere. But take all our discourses. It's easier to simply throw dust and do politics and discuss these things from a very mundane point of view. Then there's also the lack of transparency. So, for example, SNIT issued a statement. I expect they should even do a press conference. This matters. There's a whole demonstration on this. Issuing a statement and letting some SNIT guy go and speak somewhere. Invite us Do a meet the press. Information minister, let SNIT board members come and sit there and let the journalists ask them questions about the process they went through and why they decided to give the hotel to this particular company, what system they used, and in doing, explain how this fits into the overall investment philosophy. And whilst they do that, is to tell us how they expect us to benefit from the whole transaction. They won't do that because it's easy for everybody to just jump on the NDC NPP bandwagon. So we will all make noise. And by the way, a lot of people taking these decisions may not be alive when your pension is due, because you are still, how old are you? 31.
That's the problem.
31. Good. So if God gives you grace, you are going to live for another, if you retire at 60, another 29 years.
Yeah.
Most of the guys on the SNIT board taking those decisions may not.
True.
So it's in your interest as a young journalist, it's in your interest as a young worker, it's in your interest as a labor leader to be interested in these matters, to make sure that the right investment decisions are being taken for you. Because a lot of people have worked for years and the pension they took home was very bad. Pensions are very emotive. So a lot of time people don't discuss objectively. But our job is not to be emotive. Our job is to take the numbers. And I'm asking anybody to take the investments, not just of SNIT, of all the pension companies, and start, because by the way, the currency depreciation is one of the constants in Ghana. I said to you that the Ghana cedi has lost 93% of its value since 2007 redenomination. That is absolutely crazy. You get it? And the way the world is becoming, people are traveling. No matter how much cedis we give you, if the cedi can't buy anything anywhere else, that money is useless. We need to be more concerned about where our monies are going. And SNIT needs to come and tell us how selling these hotels to Rock City helps us as Ghanaian workers in the long run. If the labor unions are not interested, we are interested. And let's try and steer the discussion away from the noise so that we generate light. There's a lot of heat in Ghana. We shout. And I'm not saying demo is not good. Demo is great. Raises attention. But beyond that, there are conflict of interest issues they are raising. Let's just deal with it. But there are also investment viability issues that people have not interrogated, which I think are more critical. Because at the end of the day, what happens to your money? We look at a pension. Because the older you get, the more you spend on health. The more you spend to stay alive. People are on dialysis. People have to go to hospital weekly. If you've worked for 30 years and your pension cannot support that, you are screwed. And that screwing will happen because 30 years prior, you decided to forget to not talk when something was being decided for your pension, because you felt it was easier for you to just live your life and work hard and let the talkative radio guys talk because they don't have anything to do with their lives. So you will keep quiet. And in 30 years, you will pay the price. I will not be on air, and there will not be, they may not even be radio to be talking and making any noise. Pension bondholders, I'm ending on this, are picketing at the Ministry of Finance because where are their kids? Why are pensioners standing at the Ministry of Finance asking for their pension money to be given to them? Is that not an aberration for you? Whose silence led to that? That pensioner bondholders, Edwin and Inchi and Co., people in their 60s and 70s, go to the Ministry of Finance every week to go and picket for their money to be paid to them. Now, if we don't do anything today, in 30 years, you will also go and be picketing somewhere for your coins. Which is why we all have to get up and look at all these issues very critically. I'll end here for a minute. And do take and social media trends. After call today, you came to meet fire. Tech and social media trends is next. Nathan is ready, but it's brought to us by
Telecel and First Bank Ghana. At Telecel, we connect you to your world, and we help you connect energies. We bring your big business alive. We help you do quick and reliable communication, stress-free money transfers via Telecel Cash, where all things happen with Telecel. There is no limits to connections. Telecel, we're connecting energies. And First Bank Ghana is here. We used to be FBN Bank. You've always known us as FBN Bank. Now we are First Bank Ghana. So we are inviting you to stay tuned and discover the new and exciting ways we are putting you first. First Bank Ghana is part of the First Bank Group that is 130 years strong. First Bank Ghana, you first.
All right, so let's jump into the segment. Nathan, what is trending?
Well, several things. You mentioned SNIT, and in relation to that, Ablakwa is trending. People are still talking about the demonstration because it's still in the news, so remnants of that will stay on the trends. Other things that are trending in Ghana on the music side, Code Mickey is trending. Now, Code Mickey has a YouTube account where he breaks down songs, he decodes songs, and he's talking about Black Sheriff's latest song, Kilos Milos. and I love Black Sheriff's fashion sense. I don't know whether it was a corset and pants. I don't even know what Black Sheriff is doing the most. So could Mickey talking about Black Sheriff there. In terms of sports, okay, let me stay with music. For the followers of the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef, Drake is trending. Kendrick Lamar performed this song, I think, Euphoria. People were happy with that at a concert. People are talking about it. On the sporting side of things, Bernard, your new manager, Anna Slot, granted his first full interview yesterday, spoke to Liverpool TV and several languages. He says, we'll implement our style of football very soon. It's about having the ball a lot to have a lot of energy. So yeah,
we wish him well.
Is speaking.
We wish him well. The new one was ahead of him.
Yeah. And then in politics, Napo is trending. According to a survey done by the National Bureau of Investigation, some people prefer Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh as the preferred running mate to Dr. Baumia. That's also generating a lot of talk. On the tech side, a cyber incident at data provider CDK Global, whose software is used at 15,000 auto dealers, hampered operations Wednesday in the US and Canada. Several dealerships were affected by the outage. Now, CDK operates numerous types of products car dealers use to handle things like keeping records of negotiated deals to scheduling and communication about service. Now, CDK says not a lot they say they are looking into it and they are ensuring customer privacy. Now they are saying that they will upgrade the system to ensure that such an outage never occurs. And it takes me back to the internet outage that happened a few months ago, and whether or not we are still thinking about different options to keep data safe and different options to give us ways to connect when there's a problem with the
things
data.
like storage,
server space,
databases,
but also questions of security. Should there be a leak, for example, should MTN, God forbid, should they have a leak? What are they doing to ensure that subscriber data is kept and people or evil men do not have access to our data?
Very important.
Going up? Yes. After you. No, you first. No, please. I insist. You first. I wouldn't dare, my friend. You first. Beauty before brains, my friend. You first. The honor would be mine. You first.
Oh, my word. And I hear they were there the whole day. Our employees take our You First philosophy to a whole new level. Get used to a bank that believes in putting you first. FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. First Bank Ghana. You first.
Auntie T, abeg, fix me gobetete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no.
Problem no day. I fit handle am.
For Telecel, we the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, if you get your own data and call packages, falla! Made For Me bundles like the way you want them. That *530# then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Are you a JHS student and
More of that shortly. But let me say hi to Apioko. She's here to tell us quickly, to remind us. Today's 20th of June. So we have still 10 days in June and then 2 weeks in July to submit our essays for the first stage of the literacy challenge. Apioka, am I correct?
Yes, you are.
So what's happening with that?
All right, so let me just, for those who, don't know what the literacy challenge is, just quickly outline that. The literacy challenge is a nationwide campaign that is run here at Citi FM and Channel 1 TV.
All right.
Why are we doing it? We're saying that a lot of the things we discussed this morning, people are not bold enough to speak their minds. People are not thinking critically about what we need for our present and our future. And we believe that if we can get our young people to do that, then Ghana will be a better place in some years. So maybe not in our lifetime, but it will be a better place one day, and then we'll be happy with that for posterity's sake. So we're looking for the most outstanding all-round JHS student in Ghana.
And how are we going to find them?
Now, the literacy challenge is in 3 levels. We've got an essay competition for level 1. Then the top 50 progress to an aptitude test, general knowledge for level 2. And then in level 3, there's a live general knowledge quiz where the top 10 compete for the ultimate prize. So we're here at level 1. And in order to enter the competition, you need to do level 1. So it's not like you can go to level 2 or level 3 and you're ready. You actually have to enter from level 1. And this is how you do that. You have to write an essay. And there's a topic which you have to write on. And here it is. In not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see? And how can young people contribute to making them happen? I'll take it again. In not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see, and how can young people contribute to making them happen? That's the topic, and there are a few guidelines. So, of course, your script or your essay has to be at least 600 words long. If it's less than 600 words long, you're disqualified.
How does 600 words look on paper?
If you are writing, depending on your handwriting, maybe 1.5 foolscap sheets. Yes, give or take. Those who still use foolscap. Yes, those who still use foolscap. Depending on your handwriting. Yeah, some can use just one. But of course, in there you would have written your name, which is very important, the school, your region, if you like. Giving your contact details, very important. So that takes up some space as well. But the script has to be in your own handwriting.
Very important.
Very, very important. It is a must. Otherwise, again, disqualification.
Good.
And then your script must be endorsed by a parent or a guardian. We've had situations where maybe it's not your biological parents. It could be your grandparents. It could be an uncle and auntie. It could be your teacher. Just an adult who is guiding you through the process, and we know that there's someone with you throughout the whole thing. And then you, like I mentioned, you have to add your full contact details. There have been several instances where we get brilliant scripts, no contact details, and then we don't know how to find the young person who wrote the essay. So please put your information there. Now, the deadline is Saturday, the 13th of July, 2024.
So we still have 10 days in June. And then another 13 days.
That's 23 days. A little over 3
Is 23 days enough for me to start from the beginning?
Oh, no, it is. It is. It absolutely is. But it means that you have to work faster than someone who started already.
All right.
Okay. And we want to see that, just to know what the examiners are looking for. Mechanical accuracy. Your spelling should be on point. Your grammar, you should have paid attention to that. Punctuation. Very important. Full stops where they have to be, commas where they are necessary, semicolons where they should be, And then, also we are looking for creativity. There are some people who have already sent us their entry. Some people have decided to go what we call epistolary style. Yes, where they've written it in the form of a letter. Other people have written it in the form of a speech.
Wow.
So people are getting very freestyle, very creative with it. And then even the choice of words and language. Some people are writing in the first person. Some people are writing in the third person. So, want to see that creativity, that originality. And then we want to know that you've researched issues. Bernard, we have a number of young people who have written to us, and they're talking about how we need to beef up agriculture for the future.
Nice.
Because we are still playing in the primary sector of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that they've researched. JHS students, they've done their research. Some of them are talking about bylaws and how they want to see authorities actually enacting them so that we have cleaner cities. I mean, so many different things. So we want to see that research has gone into these essays. And then if you're going to submit your entry, there are 2 ways to do that. You can do it physically. If you're in Accra or you want to come all the way from Tamale to Accra, so it's fine. You can bring your script to the front desk of Citi FM, which is...
Two quick questions. If you said 600 words, let's clarify this. So if you are to do at least 600,
yes,
it means the word limit is not 600.
No.
So there's no limit.
No. The minimum.
So that's what economists call the word floor.
Yes, your floor is 600, but there's no ceiling.
Wonderful.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Second thing, how critical is writing in our day? Because, Charlie, now, look, when I'm typing, the computer preempts what I want to type, even on my phone. So, in fact, there was a day I was chatting to somebody, and then I was playing an audio on my other phone.
Right.
So I stopped chatting, and the phone continued
because the audio was
translating what was being said into the chat box.
Yeah.
I didn't, of course, send click, but is writing such a critical thing for today's child?
It is. Writing is critical because you need to be able to express yourself verbally, but also on paper, and I'll tell you why. You can have all these tools. The AI experts, Darlene Yakubu and Co, will tell you about prompt engineering.
Okay.
Where you can have all the AI tools, but if you don't have the right language, the right knowledge, and then the right repertoire to write the things that will give you what you want, you still get rubbish. It's garbage in, garbage out. Giggle. That is it. Garbage in, garbage out. Now we have meta AI, all these different things. Like you said, Bernard, you're talking, you're writing, it's transcribing. But sometimes, contextually and culturally, that's not the language you want to use.
Okay.
You can say impending versus upcoming. They don't mean the same thing. They both mean something is coming, but impending has a negative connotation. Yes. Impending rainstorm, impending tsunami, impending war.
I'll tell you this.
But upcoming.
I'll tell you this. So usually, on days I'm effective, I don't do this every day, but I can say maybe 4 out of every 5 days, I write what I want to do. Generally, I would type it on my phone.
Right.
All right. But I find that when I write it in my journal with a pen, I don't know. It's like it feels more personal, and I'm able to follow it more closely.
Right.
So what I tend to do is I have these post-it notes. These are yellow, so you can then. So 2 things. When I put it on the phone, it's good for the record.
Yes.
So if you pull out my phone, you can see my shadow for the whole of last week.
Same here.
But when I write it on that post-it note and I just stick it next to the computer, there's a certain impetus I get in moving towards it, which I don't get from the phone.
And Bernard, I'll explain to you why that happens. So I have a schedule all the way to December 2024, right? And everything I write, I convert to a Google document or a Google Sheet or a Google slide, depending on what I need to form it into. But every day, I have my 5 a day, which I write. So I need to do, if I don't do anything at all today, these 5 things are critical.
Sometimes
I must do that.
Sometimes I have
There you
6.
go. But the thing is, when you write, what happens is, psychologically, what's happening is that you are seeing what you're writing, and what you're writing is emanating from you. The coordination between your mind and your hand and the rest of your body to document those things. It's almost like leaving a piece of yourself on the paper.
So we should encourage our children to write more, because I find that, when my boys come home and they're working, like yesterday I was doing an assignment, they wanted to type it and things, I feel like they are lazy in writing. It's like, writing is tough.
They are digital
They want
natives.
to type, but I don't know whether I should give them points for writing.
They are digital natives.
So we are looking at handwriting now, and we're saying, look, you have to take your time and write well. And it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy, because I tell one of my kids that, look, you are smart, but if your handwriting is not good, you will be marked down. I suffered that a lot. I had a terrible handwriting. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I never really got a prize, except class 3 and class 4.
Because of your handwriting.
I think especially for English and
what was
science.
my first copy book?
I don't know. I didn't write well, and so I'm trying to get them to write better. the discipline of writing, and I need to say that writing is also a discipline.
That's it.
Keeping the letters at the same shape. You know, discipline is not just dressing and tucking in. Being able to do what you don't like, but doing it even when you don't feel like doing it.
Very true.
So I just want to say that the literacy challenge, you know, I think it was one of the people who said reading makes a full man, writing makes an exact man or something. It's very important to write. And we want to see the ink.
No, it's important. And Bernard, the other thing about writing in your own handwriting, it gives you, when we talk about literacy, there's also numeracy in there. We don't necessarily say literacy and numeracy all the time, but there's an implied dimension of numeracy. When you write in your own handwriting, it gives you a sense of spatial dimension.
Good.
So you know that I need to fit this on this page. And so I must write this. Sometimes you write smaller depending on the piece of paper you have. Right? All these skills are coming together when you are writing. You know, so there's a great convenience in using digital tools, and many of us use them all the time.
So how important is it for these JHS kids to test themselves against the rest of the country? Because a lot of these kids who write are probably in the top 10 of their schools already, and they feel like they're already good. What type of wake-up call does the literacy challenge give? How wide is the level of entry in terms of geographical areas?
Look, last year, out of the 16 regions of Ghana, we received entries from 14.
Wow.
This year, of the entries that we have, and we already have close to 1,000, Bernard, right now as we speak, only 3 of them are from Greater Accra.
So basically, most of the people are from outside Accra.
Yes, and Greater Accra being people usually want, because they live here, they will walk here to our station.
So we're seeing a lot of people from across the country, the regions applying, putting their effort in this.
Now, back to your question about why it's important for a young JHS person to test their skill. Nobody should be comfortable being a village champion.
Or a local champion.
No, and that is why Ghana has problems. We are very happy. No, we are very happy. Or local, okay, well, yes, local champion. Let me put in some political correctness there. We're very happy sitting here saying, oh, we're the first country to gain independence in sub-Saharan Africa. Oh, we have a long list of firsts. But in 2024, what are the firsts doing for us? You cannot sit down and be marking yourself against what you've done. You're only as good as your last performance. Now, if your last performance gives you an opportunity to compete against people from other parts of the country who may be better than you, then you realize that there's more out there that you can aspire to.
Wonderful.
And that's very important for a young person who could possibly be a future leader for the country.
So let's get through this. How do you submit your entries? Where do you submit your entries? When do you submit your entries?
All right, so you can submit your entries now. We want them now, as soon as possible. And you can do that until Saturday, the 13th of July. Beyond the 13th of July, that will not work, okay? And how can you do it? You can come to the front desk of Citi FM here at Adabraka. We're at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop. Just speak to the people at the front desk, drop off your essay. They know what to do, how to log you into the system. And then we'll get your essay and then prepare it for the examiner.
So start writing if you haven't started. Finish out if you've already begun. Submit your entry if you've finished.
That's right. And then you can also submit to Channel 1 TV at Tesano, number 5 Ola Hansen Lane. Now, if you are outside of Accra especially, you may want to post it.
Okay.
So it's P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central.
Can you repeat that?
P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. And of course, if you have questions, nothing is, something that's not clear, you can call 0205 973 973 0205 973 973. Brenna, please let me thank our sponsors. It's very important because there's a lot of work that goes into the literacy challenge and they make it possible. The Ghana Gas Company, very big thank you to them. 4th year running, consecutive year of sponsoring this. A Life Soap, also return sponsors. We're very grateful to them. Fortune Spread,
okay,
grateful to them as well. BB Biscuits by M4 Foods. We can't thank you enough. And then Prospectus Ghana Limited. And all these sponsors have been on the Literacy Challenge before. And so it means that there are also entities that believe in education and making sure that our young people have the skills they need to succeed and to lead us when they have to.
Apioko Sarah Mashong Abe, Head of Programs Production, driving the Literacy Challenge. Phase 1 is the essay. Phase 2 is the aptitude test. And then phase 3, of course, is the quiz. Thank you so much. Time check, 8:31, Citi Breakfast Show. I have more to talk about with the SNIT issue. And then, quite perplexing or more confusing, the president has extended the tenure of the current Auditor General. It was the same president who terminated or asked the previous Auditor General to resign because his term was up and he had reached retirement age. Well, I'll tell you the age of the new guy, the guy who's been asked to stay for 2 more years. That's also coming up. Plus, City Business Festival, 4th day of our third week. And today we're looking at the business of music. And Richie Mensah is our guest. That's at 9:05. All of this and more. Stay with us.
All right, before we get into all of that, ABSA Bank is saying that if you are a business, then you are always exploring innovative ways to maximize your ops and foster growth in today's dynamic environment. You need your suppliers to help you. That's why ABSA is giving you the Supplier Finance Program so that the next chapter of your business is one of growth and achievement. Visit absa.com.gh or speak with your relationship manager today to find out more. Your story matters. ABSA. Now, did you know that 259 unique stories are born every single minute? And your story can shape the world, and it's powerful, and we want to hear all of it. ABSA is inviting you to write your story with them. Your story matters. ABSA Bank. And if you are looking for a company, or if you are a company looking to expand your reach in Ghana's education sector, then exhibit at Educata Ghana 2024, which is the country's leading international education exhibition, and connect with industry leaders and prospective business partners. Secure your spot today at a 30% early bird discount before the 28th of June. And it's happening September 16th and 17th at the UPSA, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Contact Mr. Solomon Lodo on 0540130443 or solomon.lodo@ghana.ahk.de.
All right. Let me take you to SNIT. There was a demonstration 2 days ago by the MP led by the MP for North Tong, and essentially protesting SNIT's decision to sell off its shares in some hotels to Rock City Hotel, owned by Brian Champong, who's the Minister for Agric.
We expected to hear clearly that they have aborted this detrimental, inimical, obnoxious, unconscionable transaction. That's what we wanted to hear. Not that you are still negotiating, you haven't finalized. We know. That is why we exposed you. Our intervention was timely. We didn't want to be presented with a fait accompli where they will say, oh, it's too late. We've already sold it to him. We caught them right on time, just on the nick of time when they were about to finalize the deal.
The atmosphere was filled with chants and slogans as placards waved above the crowd. The gathering radiated a mix of hope, anger, and determination, urging the government to halt the sale. The hotels in question included the Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Royal Beach Resort, Elmina Beach Resort, and Ridge Royal Hotel. Protesters voiced their disappointment over the government's silence on the matter.
You claiming to have the men that are going to manage the economy, you are rather turning out to steal our properties. Does it mean you have the men? This we have the men people are now turning to be steal. They are thieves. They are rather stealing our things. Instead of them to focus on the economy that is at its junk state, instead of them to focus on the economy that is sinking, in order to put this in place for us, we Ghanaians, to have a better life, they are not doing it. So they don't have the men as they claim to be. They are now Guru boys. Simple.
The president told us that when they appoint ministers are capturing our property and he's not saying anything about it. So I only have one message to the president, that I'm reminding him, if he have forgotten, the message is delivered to we the Ghanaian people, that when you are your appointee, the appointees think they are coming to his government to make property. then they should rather go to the private sector. That's the message I have for the president.
A significant moment occurred when the chief priest of the La Traditional Council, expressing his displeasure, smashed a schnapps bottle while pouring libation as part of the protest.
Now, an unfortunate incident here is that there is heavy traffic gridlock. One part of the road has been blocked, hence drivers are forced to just use one side of the road. Those going to the 37 military hospital area and those heading to Labadi will have to use one route. You could see police officials and the MTTD also on site helping to divert the traffic, possible traffic. The protesters are in their numbers. They are not backing down and they are determined to walk on foot to deliver their petition to the presidency.
The protest, which lasted over 3 hours, remained peaceful until a confrontation erupted between the police and some protesters who attempted to breach the designated barricade at the termination point at Christ the King. This altercation resulted in the hospitalization of 2 protesters at the 37 military hospital. Channel 1 News witnessed sachets of water being thrown at the police, who responded with tear gas to maintain order. After a tense few minutes, the Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency received the petition from the conveners led by Northern MP Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. In his petition, Mr. Ablakwa specifically called on President
Akufo-Addo to immediately stop the sale of our SNIT hotels. 2, we take the view that state assets should not be sold, especially profitable ones. We are also appealing to the president to instruct the Play family to stop the illegal encroachment of Labadi Beach Hotels beachfront. They should also stop issuing threats and just listen to the concerns of Ghanaians.
The Deputy Chief of Staff that the concerns raised will be thoroughly reviewed.
We are delighted to pick it because it is part of the exercise of our democratic rights guaranteed under Chapter 5 of our Constitution. We are also grateful that this procession and demonstration has taken place without any negative outcomes. We are happy that the cooperation has gone on between the demonstrators and the police. We want to keep in the spirit of democracy. As you know, this year is an election year. We want to do everything in a clean, peaceful, and calm manner. So I've received this petition on behalf of the president. I'll submit same, and I can assure you that it will be looked into and the appropriate measures taking place as and when it is deemed fit and proper to do.
This demonstration had a number of people, and I cited my good friend Kenneth Kumson, who I know to be a trade unionist, taking vociferous part in the protest. And then, of course, they marched from the hotel all the way to the Jubilee House to present their petition to the Deputy Chief of Staff. Now, Mr. Kumson, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you, Bernard.
Great. So I saw somebody who looked like you in the demo. Just to confirm, was it you I saw or somebody who looks like you?
Okay, Bernard. So I guess it's me.
Okay. So were you there as in what capacity? Just to ask. I mean, citizen, obviously, but because I know you are a trade unionist, were you there because of the SNIT dimensions, or just as an ordinary citizen concerned about the matter?
So thank you very much. So this was in solidarity with the Honorable Member of Parliament, Ablakwa, who had, over the period unearthed certain transactional, lapses within that whole process, for which we elected to participate in a way that communicate unequivocally our rejection of what was going on. So I was there in my capacity as the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, and also as a member and the leader of organized labour de facto.
Wonderful. I mean, should this demonstration not have been organized by organized labour? Pardon the pun there. I mean, Ablakwa is a politician, fine. He's in parliament. Obviously, he has access to information. But to the extent that this is a process to do with ownership of hotels belonging to SNIT, or with significant interests that SNIT has, SNIT being the tier 1 pension manager, managing the pensions of workers, should it not rather have been TUC and GFL organizing a protest for Ablakwa to join, rather than he organizing a protest for you to join?
So thank you very much. I think it's a valid question. And again, it actually goes to question whether or not organized labor is disorganized or organized. The fact that you use the word organized does not in itself suggest that it is organized. From where we find ourselves until the new labor bill is passed into law, which I believe we are all interested in making it so, organized labor still appears to be heavily disorganized. And so it becomes quite difficult to kind of bring everybody together to take an action within a certain time frame. And that is what has accounted largely for our inability to have staged a protest or a demonstration to communicate our rejection of the lapses that has occurred in that whole process. So recognizing that this is ours, SNIT is for workers, whatever way you look at it, my pensions or the first year contribution that I made for and on behalf of me by my employer and that of mine, SNIT holds in trust, and that's why they call it Social Security and National Interest and then Trust. So by virtue of the existence of SNIT, by virtue of its object, they hold all those money in trust. And so it's important that when we identify that our future, our pensions are threatened by one decision or the other, obligation is imposed on us to rise up and to challenge it. And that's why we felt that irrespective of whether it is MPP, NDC, DPP, YWZ, whichever party color you project, our interest is at stake, our future is at stake. And I believe honestly that it was the honorable thing to do, it was the glorious thing to do for us to have identified ourselves with them, to purge ourselves of the iniquities of having relaxed, of the sins of having sat down all this while. And so for us to identify ourselves on that glorious platform was for us an occasion to register to our people that indeed we object to this, we reject this, and we believe that we must, adopt the right procedures and processes to make sure the right are done. So for me, the question is that we identify with it. Organized labor is strongly behind the demonstration. We believe that it was the right thing to have done. And if it is organized tomorrow, I can assure you that we will be there in our numbers.
To be fair to organized labor, a month ago today, I heard the TUC Secretary General say, in fact, issue a stern warning to SNIT to hold the reported sale of 60% of its stake in 4 hotels to Brian Champong. And according to the union, these properties belong to the citizens and SNIT is merely managing them. Therefore, they would not allow SNIT to sell them just to anyone, especially the Minister of States. And I'm quoting what he's... In fact, this is actually attributed to Dr. Isaac Bampuadu. Forgive me. Dr. Isaac Bampuadu, who is the head of Civil and Local Government Staff Association. He says, we want government to know that these funds are not government funds. These funds are pension funds. And pensions are guided by Act 766. We have investment guidelines under Act 766, and clearly these guidelines have not been followed. The government should be aware that we will not allow them to play chaskele with our funds. Should they dare and go ahead, it will be a mother of all strikes in Ghana. He said this 20th May. Today is 20th June. Is all of organized labor of this view, or are there aspects of organized labor who support the sale?
Okay, so this is what it is. On 20th of May, we summoned our reps on the SNIT board. There are 4 of them. And what we must all understand is that they owe a fiduciary duty to us as leadership of organized labor. In other words, a duty is imposed on them to, give us heads up or to update us as to the happenings at SNIT. So they came to the meeting and they informed us of one, that yes, SNIT had elected to sell off some of these hotels, Labadi and La Palm and so on and so forth, for which they constituted a subcommittee. The subcommittee was supposed to deal or work with what they call transaction advisor. Clear terms were provided. MOU was signed with clear terms that they had, first of all, the terms of reference for the committee and how they should perform their duties. And then MOU was subsequently also signed, which provided terms of the transaction and what the transaction must look at, including pricing and so on and so forth. They informed us on the 20th of May that an important element of that term, of that MOU, which is the price, the cost, had been varied, had been tempered with, had been changed, and once that has been done, in law, any law student or any lawyer will tell you, violate the original terms, which in a way vitiates the contract, which in a way renders that transaction invalid. And so, considering the fact that a very important term in that MOU was violated, they raised collectively an objection and demanded that the whole procedure should be halted by the committee. And I want us to listen this carefully. We are not interested in all the political drama surrounding this transaction. Our interest is the welfare of our people, the Ghanaian worker, the pensioner, the farmer, the civil servant, the public servant, the private sector employee, the carpenter, the mason, the hotel employees. Our interest is about the welfare of these people. They should not disturb us with all these political issues. A term which was very important in this whole transaction was violated, for which they raised that objection, number one. Number two, there was also a radical changes in some of the terms of the transaction. Again, we also told that even there were documents which was submitted to the committee that did not get to the table of the board so properly called. So between the board and the committee and the transaction advisor, there were so many things that seemed not to be going well. For which reason, even the transaction advisor at some point had also advised that they should hesitate in the way this thing is going. So our members on the 20th of May were very clear that these matters were so heavy, they were not just procedural. These are substantive matters that goes to the heart of what they were doing. for which reason they asked that it should be halted. What organized labor did was to write to the Minister of Labor, and on the same 20th, or I think 22nd, we met the Minister of Labor, and it was a meeting convened at his instance. He summoned the board members of SNIT. Some of them were there, and we had a lengthy discussion, for which reason organized labor had also communicated again that this whole transaction should be halted. As I speak to you now, the MOU that will constitute the final disposal of the asset has not been signed. People are saying that who are sold what? If they have done something, then they have done it without a very important member or a partner to all that thing. We haven't signed anything. If they have signed an MOU which has finalized it, then maybe it's happening somewhere in Libya or Liberia or maybe somewhere. But as far as labor is concerned, that MOU has not been signed. And so those hotels have not been sold. It should be made clear. Now, we are also very careful not to appear to be discussing these matters too much, because His Excellency the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has invited the leadership of organized labor for us to discuss this matter. We are hopeful that in the wisdom of His Excellency the President, a decision will be taken that will inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian workers. That is our stand.
So your stance is not necessarily cast in stone. It depends on many things from what you are saying because of the process you've described. But I have seen the board members. There are 12. 4 of them are reps from organized labor. There's a rep from Ghana Employers Association, which you can also say, of course, is private sector. Then there's a rep who represents SNIT Pensioners Association. Okay. How on earth was it that even though 4 of your members, and this is 4 out of I think 11 or 12, 4 out of 12, is it that they were overruled, or is it that what did they explain to you how come their opposition to the deal did not stand? Was there a vote? Do they know who voted for? Do you have those details? Because you are the only because the president's nominees are not up to 4. Okay, if you look at it carefully, the president's nominees are 1, 2, 3, and then there's also a deputy minister. So my argument is that 4 out of 12 is quite substantial. So what happened in that meeting? Did they do a written report to organized labor to explain the issues they opposed and on what level they lost? Was it a technical decision? Was it a vote? What happened?
No, so what I said earlier on is that the board, so in principle, we members of organized labor, we even disagree, first of all, in even the discussion around the state of any hotel. First of all, we need to register that position clear. However, board meetings, you know how sometimes it goes, and sometimes you may be taking, you may be involved in a decision, one decision or the other, that if you're not careful, you may raise objection, but you'll be swallowed by virtue of majority view, and so on and so forth. What we are saying is that the members of organized labor, as far as the information they gave us is concerned, because I am not on the board, to be very definite and to be very sure of what language was used, who said what, and what happened. I'm only relying on the feedback from our members, who said that they had raised objections to the whole transaction and demanded an immediate cessation in any form of conversation that has to do with the hotel. We are relying on that to make appeal to the president that if these concerns were not respected as a very important member of the SNIT board, then the president, in his sovereign understanding of the wishes and the beliefs and the confidence of Ghanaians in him, will make a determination, suspending any conversation, discussion, agreement, whether done in the night, in the morning, in the afternoon, to ensure that these hotels are not tampered with. That's what we are saying. That is the position of organized labor. And I think we deserve to be respected as far as that is concerned. Again, we are also saying that there are a lot of stakeholders, even if assuming we have even come to the conclusion that, listen, these hotels are not performing, they are becoming a burden on SNIT, they are not profitable, we should make sure that the processes on unearthing these matters are very clear, transparent. So please, we are not being very difficult. We think the president is a good man. He thinks well of Ghanaian workers. He's going to advise and even going to make a determination on this matter. That will put it to rest. That is our hope and that's our conviction.
At the risk of over-elaborating, 60% of SNIT shares will be sold. So that suggests that 40% will still be kept. Is organized labor saying that the hotels, no percentage should be sold at all, or that a lower percentage should be sold, or that if it will be sold, it should not be sold to Brian Champon's company because of conflict of interest? Is there I want to just be clear on what you are telling the president to do.
No, Bernard. Assuming there has been a good forensic audit, there's been a proper assessment, evaluation has been conducted, and all the good governance protocols are observed, and we all come to a conclusion as Ghanaians that A, B, C decision must be taken. We'll take that decision when we get there.
So for now, you're raising red flags about the process and the potential outcome. So you want more clarity so that you will be in a better position to know. But is there not enough information? For example, there are newspapers that have published stories. For example, the Finder last week said the 5 SNIT hotels were cash-strapped, and that with the exception of Labadi Beach Hotel, now the hotels can fund maintenance, capex, and additional periodic significant investment of capex, and that they then give how much dividend had been paid. Basically, there's a lot of information flying out there. Are you saying that those pieces of information are not enough for you to take a decision yet? Because, I mean, some people are clear. Those who demonstrated said, stop the sale. So why is organized labor saying you want more information? More information about what?
No, I think I have said that. I think, Bernard, I have made a very consistent statement, remarks to say that we have asked for it to be halted because that is the position of the members on the SNIT board. And again, we don't want to jump the gun. We want to make sure that we respect the integrity, the wisdom of our members on the board. And based upon that, we have also communicated to the public and to the minister and to the president that they should be stopped. I think the language has not varied. We are saying the same thing. However, what we are saying is that if in the process there is enough or sufficient information that convinces all of us, and here I'm talking about Ghanaian workers, I'm talking about stakeholders, that indeed there is a good case for which a decision must be taken, either to the A or B or C. When we get there, we will cross. That is the point I'm trying to make. So,
okay, that's clear. That's clear. That's clear now. It's clear now. So halt the sale, and then what else has to be done going forward will be based on any new information. But for now, halt the process. I think that position is very clear. That position is clear. So thank you, Kenneth, for talking to us.
Thank you, Ben.
Kenneth Kumson is the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour. He's part of organized labour leadership. And he joined the demonstration on Tuesday, and he believes the process, organized labour's 4 reps on the board of SNIT said the process must be halted, and they need more information to proceed, but the process as it stands should be halted. I think that position is very clear. I wanted to point out that on the board of SNIT, as I have it, are 12. So there are 12 people on the board of SNIT. And those 12 have 4 being members of. So I'm going to go through the list just for transparency purposes. The board is chaired by Miss Elizabeth Ohini, former journalist, former minister. There's a rep of the Ghana Employers Association, GEA. This happens to be Dr. Emmanuel Edusa Akodia. Now, these are people who employ. So it's not organized labor. It's more, it's not even AGI. It's just employers. I suspect these are private sector employers, not public sector employers. So these are private sector employers. Now, there are 4 reps. Mr. John Senanu Amegashi, rep of organized labor. Mr. Joshua Ansa, rep of organized labor. Dr. Evans Ageme Jikum, rep of organized labor. Miss Ivy Betur Naso, rep of organized labor. Then there's a rep for SNIT Pensioners Association. This is quite interesting. So these are, when it says SNIT pensioners, I'm not sure if this is pensioners who used to work for SNIT or pensioners who are on SNIT.
Oh, it will be the pensioners who are on SNIT.
like, if you retire and you are earning your things, you have contributed over the years and you are now in retirement.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's.
No, this is SNIT pensioners.
Yeah, I think that's.
No, Sky, I think it's the first.
That former workers of SNIT?
I think so.
Wow.
Because
then who will be representing the interests of pensioners then?
Organized labor.
No.
You think this
you
is
have active?
Okay. So there are pensioners who, I get you. There are pensioners who depend on now.
Yes.
Tier
that's right.
2 and 3.
Uh-huh.
So SNIT pensioners will be. So then obviously this guy should be representing the interests of pensioners.
Yes. So the people who have been picketing, whose money and those
you think so?
Yeah, that's. Most likely.
Are you sure? No, I think this is pensioners of SNIT.
Well, okay. Well,
someone needs to help me here because I'm trying to see the calibration. As Peter Oseidia. Peter Oseidia is the president's nominee. You know him, SIC, former CEO. Miss Gloria Irene Amaki Paida, president's nominee. Mrs. Abena Osayasari, Rep Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. She's the Minister of State now.
Yeah.
Kofi Bosompe Mosafo Manfo is the DG. Took over from Tinkran. And then Giftianan is the company secretary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of this pensioner rep guy. I need to clarify.
So if you go to the governing body of the authority, governing body of the authority is a board consisting of a chairperson, the chief executive officer of the authority, the person nominated by the president, the representative of the ministry responsible for pensions, not below the rank of a director, a representative of the Bank of Ghana, a representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission, 2 representatives of organized labor, 1 representative of the Ghana Employers Association, 1 representative of the National Pensioners Association.
Okay.
And
you are
a
right.
Representative of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
So a rep of the National Pensioners Association.
Yeah.
So this is not. So this is. I get you. So you are right. So you are correct. So the Association of Pensioners. So all people who depend on SNIT to pay their pensions, whether lump sum or whatever. This guy. So I'm doing this to suggest that then he also ought to be on the side of organized labor.
Yes, if he's properly directed.
The issues around, which is why Kenneth is saying that they need some more clarity. For example, on the price that the thing was being sold, the process. Okay, so that on the face of it, it looks a bit murky. On the face of it, that a minister owns 100% the hotel, and 60% of the stake of the pensions fund is going to be sold to him at a certain price.
To his
company. The people who support his side say the hotels were not making profit. Okay, so then the question then would be, what is the track record of a hotel? What did they promise to do? What kind of, so is it a capital injection they wanted, or is it the expertise, or both? All right. How long has the hotel been in existence? So if the hotel is going to pay this amount, is it just the money belonging to the main shareholder, or this is from the hotel's own reserves? What is their turnaround strategy? How comforting is that to us as a public? Because again, the board is there to do that work for us. But if the reps from organized labor say disagree, we don't know what the pensioner rep thinks. What do the reps of government think? What does the Minister of Finance rep think? Okay. I think there needs to be a proper conversation around this, because this is both substantive and symbolic. All right. The symbolism is that, look, the impression you create by giving 60% of shares of these hotels, and these are iconic hotels, Labadi Beach, La Palm, these are hotels we know, to a hotel that's younger than they are. Okay. Again, the issues around how profitable they are. Fine. 2023 accounts may not have been filed, but the hotel is more than 5 years old. I think it's 4 or 5 years old. Even if it's 3 years old, they should have filed. What is their profit and loss position over the past 3 years? All right. The location of the hotel, does it have the number of customers? What expertise have they brought to run these hotels in Accra? Is it the same? What's the capacity of the management team? Is there a new company that's going to run this? All of these things are important. Or are the 4 hotels just cash strapped that they just need money? So they just need capital injection, therefore they are selling it off. Okay. These matters need to be properly addressed. Of course, The Shras angle is the human rights, administrative justice angle, due process angle. But as I said to you earlier, there are very important conversations to be had about the security of our pensions. Beyond what SNIT invests our money in, how much are they getting? What is their current investment guideline? And what does it say about private participation in managing of these entities? Okay. I have heard people say that even our private pension funds must be allowed to invest some of our monies abroad, because some of the money we get to do development are pension funds of foreign citizens. Your biggest exposure in Ghana is FX. All right. So if you are investing in government of Ghana bonds, equities which are Citi denominated, against the dollar, you're losing. Shouldn't we hedge our pensions against the US dollar depreciation? Because if I'm going to pay you, I don't know, 2,000 cedis a month as pension, in the next 20 years, even if I pay you 3,000, in 20 years, what would that be? Even if I pay you 10,000 cedis,
valueless, worthless.
But if you are going to pay $500, generally, because our currency keeps depreciating. So is there even any logic in just investing just in Ghana, where, do you understand, every year, every quarter, the currency is depreciating so badly? How much return will you get on those investments when you compare it to what you will get in a US dollar denominated equity?
Yeah, but added to that, is that not where we should actually concentrate and say that, look, the people who are in charge of the economy have got to do a better job. The mess we currently are in is as a result of incompetence in handling how the economy is run. So if they were doing the economy properly, or they were running it properly, while your argument may be valid to an extent, we will not be as exposed as we are.
But that's true. But see, if you are the investment manager for SNIT, your job, whether the economy does well or not, your remit is to make sure that when Nathan is 60 years old, he has a good pension. So your decision will be made easier if they manage the economy well. It will be made tougher if they manage the economy badly. But whether the economy is being managed well or not, you need to make a decision to protect Nathan's future. So I am saying that as a country, MPRA must also come up with investment guidelines that reflect the reality. And I'm saying the reality is that since 2007, your currency has lost 93% of its value. So any dollar, any CD denominated investment will still be worth less than it was. And this is a fact of the Ghanaian economy over the past 17 years. Do you get my point? So while we will say, yes, they should manage the economy well, the guy, Caleb, running that money for you must make sure that Nathan is secure. And that must be part of this conversation. I've heard Imani say some of the investments SNIT makes don't generate any return. Okay. Let's just be minded that SNIT investment has many things it tries to do. So it have interest in banks, because when SNIT owns interest in banks, it also helps to stabilize the financial system. All right. Banks must not just be owned by foreigners. That's why your currency depreciates further, because if all your banks are owned by foreign owners, when they declare dividend, all the money leaves. So you need capital based here. AGI, TUC, they must all have money in some of our institutions here, so that when they make profit, you all get some. So that the money doesn't leave the country. So sometimes SNIT invests not just in money and equities, but also in real investments. Do you get it?
But
so,
some of the investments are just strictly bad.
Yeah, but that's so you need
utterly.
So what you need to do is to have an independent assessment of SNIT investments, say over the past decade, objectively done, and then we decide. By the way, that's, as I said, the ultimate goal of investment is to make sure Nathan has a pension. I have a pension. I have a pension. But you can walk and chew gum. You can have that, but also help to energize certain sectors. Do you understand? So investment is not just one track where you are just looking for financial return. You are looking for financial return, but also to help to stabilize the financial system, to help to build certain real sector economies, support private sector, support, for example, as we speak, for the past 14 quarters, credit to the private sector has been negative. It's reducing. So the banks are not lending to private sector. If workers own the bank, or if SNIT own the bank, it may have been a different story, because maybe the investment guidelines could have said invest or give loans, or your credit guidelines, you have said give loans to certain categories of people. If private sector don't have access to good credit, people don't have money. The economy cannot grow. So, Sky, we need to broaden the conversation. Yes, TUC, organized labor, 100%, asking for further information. Hopefully, the president will use what TUC has said and what the demonstrators have said to take a decision on the matter. But we need clarity on the investment strategy of SNIT. And as you and I have said, if that is not done properly, all of us will suffer and our future will not be guaranteed. Let's read a few comments. 60 minutes past 9. Later on, we're going into a conversation with Richie on music as part of our on-air series for the Citi Business Festival. Nathan.
Junior Blake, Community 25, says, please play the KK Kabobo song. He says it all in this demo. Yeah. Prof Inteba says several spaces in the Emporium have been left unoccupied for 5 years just because they are charging $30 per square meter. Why not reduce the price so that companies can rent? SNIT officials must be prosecuted. Prof Intema, he's very unhappy. This one says SNIT should rather sell the SNIT Emporium at the airport square. That investment is a waste of our pension funds. That investment is not making any return. It is less than 50% occupied. You want SNIT to do a press conference and say what? What are those heading? Okay, who are those heading top positions at SNIT? It won't happen. Forget it. The former SNIT boss was ousted for a reason. Mokole sent that. This one says, what is more concerning is the way and manner the SNIT MD was replaced with Osafoma Fusan a few months before this expose. It is more disturbing to know that at the core of this sales is the family, friends, and sons of people in the president's immediate circle. It's very disappointing to know how the president is quiet on this. I don't think they would have been this quiet if Dr. Indum was buying SNIT hotels. I see the biggest protest hitting Ghana soon. This is becoming too much. Evans said that. The sale of SNIT hotels to Rock City begs several questions. One, why is SNIT selling these hotels? In these days, in this day of haircuts and uncertainties in the financial sector, where is SNIT going to invest the proceeds from the sales? Is SNIT telling Ghanaians that Rock City or Brane Champon have a better balance sheet than the whole of SNIT? Is SNIT saying Rock City is able to put up a management team together to better run these companies while SNIT is unable to do same or better? SNIT seems to have taken its eyes off its main responsibility, investment, and is now disinvesting in viable investments. Bernard, there are several questions that I can ask. SNIT seems to have been politicized over the years, making it difficult for it to act fairly in the interest of Ghanaian workers. We are in difficult times. Kwesi Akwa from Sakumono.
My last question though. Sraj will do. What is Sraj? Not the outcome. What is Sraj looking for?
Well, you know, when it comes to public office holders and allegations of possible conflict of interest, that's a mandate that has been handed over to Sraj to deal with. Previously, they were dealing with matters related to corruption and related issues to a large extent or to some extent. But we do know that that has been now hived off and given entirely to the special prosecutor to deal with. Now, the Honorable Kujetua Blakwa is raising issues that include alleged conflict of interest because the Honorable Brian Champong happens to be a member of parliament, first of all, and then also a minister in the current administration. And you do know that very topical decisions like the one affecting the investments of workers through SNIT would of course have gone through cabinet at some level and a discussion would have been had. The question is, if indeed there was a discussion in cabinet, who were the people in cabinet when this discussion was had and what were the views of the people who were there? And then ultimately, whether the Honorable Brian Champo, if indeed there was such discussion, he was in that meeting. Again, there are issues about whether or not he even has the certificate from the Speaker of Parliament to even engage in business. Of course, he tells us that somebody else is running the business, but these are matters that the Shrad would have to look into. looking at the fine details of the allegations being made by the Honorable Okujetua Blakwa, whether there is a case of conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest, and what the views of SHRAG members or the commission is on the subject matter, and a decision will be made, one way or the other, whether or not he is in violation or not in violation.
This is very interesting. So we'll look out for that. Thank you, Sky. Taking a short break. When we come back,
I just want to make a quick comment,
Yes,
Bernard,
sir.
if I may.
Yes.
That, you see, for some reason, this government is not living up to its billing. We were told that they were going to be the best protectors of the public purse. It doesn't seem that from everything that they are doing, it doesn't seem that they are living up to the billing on this particular subject matter. And what actually even hurts me the most is the recent announcement we've seen in the newspapers or online that the Auditor General, his mandate is expected to be extended. Of course, if you look at the provisions of our Constitution, Article 296, if my memory serves me correctly, governing retirement age of workers. When you retire, once there is need for your service, it is possible that you can be re-engaged. It's actually Article 199 of the Constitution of the Republic. And if you go to 4, it talks about some exceptions. So if you are, Bernard, for instance, if you hit 60 and you retire, and perhaps the president thinks that you are doing something really great in a public office and they want to extend your mandate, they can extend it, you know. But in the current case, if you situate it within the context of how Domelevu was hounded out of office.
On the basis that he had reached retirement.
Exactly. And it was, you see, you look at the thing. He had an open fallout with the senior minister at the time, Yaosafo Mafo. Some findings were made which were adverse, and that matter traveled to the courts and all kinds of things were said. Ultimately, the presidency took the view that he was a problem for them, and they removed him. Just because they said, oh, some date of birth was somewhere and they did not agree with it, or he was not truthful and all of that. But the truth was that the Supreme Court eventually decided that that removal was wrong in law. Now, if you want to send the right signal, why not appoint somebody else? Or why not put someone in an acting capacity pending the appointment of, a full-time officer to take up the responsibility? Here you are, removing somebody out, hounding the person out of office when the person had not even attained the retirement age. Yet someone who went to do politics, right? He stood for an election, lost. People are raising all kinds of issues with it. He is back, and then you are now taking him up again to continue his role. I mean, please, they should take Ghanaians seriously. This is certainly not right. It doesn't send the right signals. It smells of all kinds of things. The presidency should be acting better than this.
Hello, you're very welcome to the Citi Business Festival Honor Series here on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Apioko. This week we've been talking about creative entrepreneurship, and this has come from a long line of things we've been talking about since the 1st of June. We began with tech, and then we moved on to agribusiness, and this week is the week for the creatives. So if you know a creative, call him or her and tell them to tune in, because this may be for them and it's also for you. Now, my guest today is someone who needs no introduction on the entertainment scene in Ghana, and he's an all-round creative, even though now he can tell us why, doing more of the administrative and business side of specifically music. Richie Mensah, he is the founder and CEO of the Links Group Limited. Hi, Richie. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm awesome. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm well, thank you. It's good to see you.
Yes. Very nice to be here.
Yes.
Usually I'm shy, but today I'm out of my
This shy
shell.
that you keep saying you are.
I'm a shy guy.
We're shy. Anyway, I suppose a lot of people behind the scenes are shy. But that would bring me to my first question for you. We're talking about the business of music.
Okay.
Now, when we met Richie Mensah years ago, you were singing. What made you say, you know what? I need to go into the business of music. I need to create platform to sort of build other creatives, other musicians, and I just want to be in the background.
So I actually always was in the business of music. I didn't start as a singer. I started by opening the studio, then turn it into a record label. So by the time people knew me as the singer, I was already the businessman in music. So it's not like I left the forefront to become the businessman. It got to a point where the music was successful, the business was successful, a lot was going on, and I needed to choose the hats that I was going to wear properly. You know, I realized I couldn't be that person going for interviews and going on stage and going to shoot my music videos and still be the same person running the meetings and brainstorming and coming up with ideas. So I said, I have to choose. Yeah. And when I looked at it, I felt like if I was going to do my career only, that's just a one-off, but if I could set up the business properly to be able to do much more, then I'll affect the entire ecosystem. And that connected more with me than...
So basically you took a bullet for Ghanaian music.
I had to.
It's a very laudable and profound thing to do. But you've been in the industry for a while, and I imagine with the work that you and your team at Links do, you have a hold on some of the statistics. What is the contribution of music to Ghana's economy right now? It doesn't have to be hardcore statistics, but from where you sit, what does it look like?
What I can say is it's not enough. So when it comes to the use of music, the benefits of music indirectly, that one I can say is high, because from the nightclubs to the radio stations to TV stations to the bars to people on the street, everyone at home, the usage of music in Ghana is unlimited, right? But when it comes to the revenue coming in directly from music, that isn't high enough, unfortunately, because the infrastructure hasn't been aligned properly. So despite the fact everybody hears about it and the usage is everywhere, the revenue isn't as good as it should be.
So how have we got to the point where that's happening? How does a musician make money? And this ecosystem that you reference, how does it work? What should be happening for the revenue streams that you're talking about to show up and pop up in the numbers so we can say that X amount is what the music industry is contributing to Ghana's economy?
I would say that one of our biggest problems is our industry is normally behind. Okay, it's a very dynamic industry. Things are changing so fast globally. Most of the time, by the time we're able to catch up with the new trend, it's out.
Gone.
When we were talking earlier before we even started, you mentioned about streaming platforms and should we have our own DSPs in Ghana and everything. Yes, and we should have had a long time ago. But guess what? Right now, the world is starting to revolt against Spotify and Apple Music and the other music platforms. So by the time Ghana figures out streaming platforms, the world has moved on. So we need to become faster, better thinkers, solve problems and make sure that we're able to keep up with the pace of the global world, because it's very dynamic. Things in our industry completely turn around every 6 months. And that was then. Right now, it can be like every week.
So what is making us lag behind? Because we look at the industry, we hear the music, we jam to it, we play it all the time, we're streaming it. So clearly the work is being done by the individual creatives. But what's preventing us as a nation, do you think, and perhaps from the information that you have based on the work you do, what's preventing us from leveraging that to get to the point where so we can move quickly and also make a strong mark on the world?
So you actually mentioned it in your question. Individual efforts is our biggest problem. There's not enough collaboration. Okay, what happens is that I have a solution to just a little part of the problem. Someone else has another solution, you come together, you solve the whole problem. But we don't sit in the same room. Everyone just sits in his corner and tries to solve things on their own. I'm actually launching a project called Live the Music, which the aim of the project is to start bringing the industry together, start getting us to work on things together, find solutions that will affect us for a long time. Because if we keep sitting in our tiny corners and thinking we can fix things, it's actually not possible.
And that's a Ghanaian problem generally, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because I'm sure even beyond music, there are other aspects of your business that take you into other industry and you may be experiencing the same thing.
Yes. But the only problem with entertainment is because the structures are so dynamic, you need to be on it consistently. Like when I say that, if you take an industry like banking, it's been structured for a very long time. BOG is on it. They are regulating every bank. They have rules. Maybe every 3 years they'll make some changes. They'll implement those rules. With us, we never even got that structure from the start. And now things are changing so quickly that if you try to structure now and you are not on it, we can sit down and appoint a team that come up with the solutions. And in 6 months, the reason you appointed that team, they are obsolete because they don't understand the newest tech. AI music is here. So that person who was an expert in publishing and was trying to collect royalties, if you are not adept with AI music, you cannot have a publishing conversation now. Right. So we need to understand how far back we are, start banding together and solving it. Because as I just mentioned this, there's somebody out there who's an expert in AI, much more than someone else, and that person is an expert in publishing. Put the two of them in the same room, AI publishing for music, sorted. But the collaboration is just not happening. I'm going to make it happen.
I know you will.
Yes,
I know you will.
I will.
You always make it happen. Let's talk about business models in music.
Okay.
For those who may not understand what the music business looks like globally, can you just maybe lay out some of the key business models that have existed over time, that have developed, and then we can come to what's being done in Ghana and what we've discovered works for us?
Okay, so let's look at the different parts of music. Maybe the first side that I'll talk about is the artist creation side. Okay, so normally when it comes to handling of artists, we have different models. We have the record label. So the record label is usually the body that has the, let's say, 360 deal that will invest in the artist, from their music to their look, to their music videos, to their marketing, everything, and push that artist out there in hopes that the artist becomes big enough for them to make their revenue back. We have the management system. So for the management system, they may not have the funding and the strength of a record label, but based on the fact that they believe in the talent, it's either the talent is financing the project themselves, or they find what we call an executive producer who's going to finance the project. So it becomes sort of like a three-way split between the management, the executive producer, and the artist. So the manager...
So when you say a project, you're talking maybe an album, an EP...
It's all dependent. It's negotiable. Depending on what it is. Some people do yearly contracts.
Okay.
Some people do 10-year contracts. Some do project contracts, like a single project, an album project. So it all depends. The truth of the matter is, in Ghana, it's harder to do project contracts because, let's say you work on an album for an artist. The album itself may not make enough money, but based on the work you did for the album, the following year, the next album will make enough money. So if you only sign for the project, you've laid the foundation for the money that's made and you are no longer part of it. So in Ghana and smaller industries like Ghana, it normally makes more sense when you do for a number of years. So you sit down, you look at it, and you decide.
Okay.
We also have something called label services. So the label services is when maybe an artist has their own funds, they want to be their own boss,
Okay.
but they still need the team. So now you can go to a record label and say, okay, I want the services that you offer, but I don't need your investment.
Right.
So you will work for me like a service provider and just offer me the management, the distribution, and this and that and that. And coming to that, we also have distribution services.
Oh.
So with distribution services, you do your own thing, you give it to us, we distribute it to the world. You know, take either a small revenue, a small percentage from it, or some people say you pay yearly, depending on the person's formula. So these are the creation hubs for artists. Aside this, we have agencies. Agencies work the way they do in every other industry. It's about getting you gigs and deals. So it's like a booking agent to get you shows. They take their percentage, you go play a show. We have brands. People will help you with brands to bring brand deals and influencer contracts and everything, you know, different types of agencies. And then one thing that I would say we don't do too well in Ghana with is touring. So outside, touring is one of the biggest things. And the reason we don't do too well in Ghana with touring comes right back to the collaboration.
Okay.
Because when Lady Gaga wants to tour, she picks up a phone. No, not her, sorry. Her manager picks up a phone and calls a touring company. Her album is ready, we want to tour. The touring company just arranges everything from ticketing to venues to sound to stage, lights, dancers, DJs, presenters. Everything is arranged. We all go do the tour. We split the revenue. Right. But in Ghana, because there's no collaboration, if I want to do a tour for Kiddie, I have to book stage, book sound, book lights, book venue, print the tickets myself, do my own branding, pay the DJ, pay. So by the time the budget is put in front of me, it's too much. You know, I always remember a few years ago, I was checking stats and I saw that Lady Gaga's tour made $75 million. And Lady Gaga got 22 million.
Hey, look at that.
I was thinking, wow. So other people shared 53 million. So if
and it's still a lot of money.
A lot of money. I don't think Lady Gaga is complaining about her 22 million. So if we could start thinking like that, we would have, like what I was saying, solutions. There's somebody there, they've bought the sound equipment. It is theirs. It is in their warehouse. Whether they play a show this week or not, it is there. Somebody has the screens. Somebody has the venue. Whether it's booked or not, it is there. So if we all just work together, let's say Lady Gaga is big, she's making 77 million, this is plenty, it's fine. If you could do a tour in Ghana for an artist and make 5 million CDs.
That's a lot of money.
And the 5 partners that collaborated each take $1 million. I don't think anybody will be unhappy.
At all.
But what will happen is when we call the event logistics people, they'll charge us, then we can't afford. When the event logistics people decide that, since my equipment is there, let me just organize an event. They too, they'll call us, then we'll charge them. They too, they can't afford. Then we all sit there hungry.
It's a back and forth.
Exactly.
So how do we get past this? Because clearly from what you've outlined, of course, we're picking cues from global systems that are working. With the work that you and the Links Group are doing, you're seeing literally before your eyes what can work.
Yeah.
But we need the rest of the industry to come on board and say, we see it too, so let's all make this happen. So, how do we get there?
So that's the reason I'm starting the Live the Music project. It's for me sitting there and realizing the fact that even with us who have done so much, we could do so much more. And we are not capable because we don't have these conversations. So it's about time that we have these conversations. It's about time we bring everyone who has an interest in creative arts. And I don't just mean music. Because music has a long chain of people that it affects, from the graphic designer to the videographer to the model to the artist who's going to come and paint for the music video to the video director. There's a lot of people. The music administrators, the entertainment lawyers, the A&Rs, so many people. Why don't we just find ways of working together and making things bigger? You know, I remember sometime I actually offered a director a percentage of all the revenue that will come from the video going on YouTube. And they said no, they took their fee.
Can you come to me? I'll take it.
They said no. And that video actually went viral and made a lot of money on YouTube.
Did the person get back to you?
It was too late.
At that point.
You get me? So some of these things are conversations that we can have sometimes, you know, because...
So not a one-size-fits-all. Based on the project, we can look at it and see what the possibilities are, what the revenue streams are looking like based on projections, and then we can strike an agreement.
I've forgotten the name of the guy who did Lion King. Lion King, what's his name? Simba.
Yes.
Right? So the guy who voiced Simba, the child Simba, he was offered $1 million. And his mom thought about it and said, instead, give me $100,000 and royalties. Yeah. And he's made much more over time. Crazy. Of course, getting that $1 million at that time wouldn't have been bad. But if you look at the fact that every time Lion King does well, he's going to eat for the rest of his life. Right. You know, when we start thinking like this, the selfishness, and I want it to be me, and you know, one thing that happens in Ghana, which is so funny. So I always bear this in mind whenever somebody makes me a collaboration offer. They said, if I'm making 10 cities, and someone comes to me and says, I like what you're doing. Let's work together. I have a plan. If we work together, we can now make 100 cities. So when we make 100 cities, I'll take 40, you take 60. Most businessmen would think, okay, that's 50 cities more. Right. So it's a good deal. The typical Ghanaian would think, why am I working and taking my 40 cities? They don't analyze that. But based on your contribution, I will make more.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter that, like, I have...
And also, they don't realize that to get that 10 cities, you may end up spending more than the 100 cities in the first place to get it.
Like, let me tell you something I hear all the time. I sit at home and just laugh because I don't normally do this. I won't come and say anything, so I just laugh. When I hear things like maybe some artists say, and they were chopping my money, and my manager was taking my money, and I would laugh because what can happen is maybe a manager or an executive producer signs an artist, right? They've invested $500,000 for this artist to start getting recognition. They start getting recognition. They play their first show, $30K. And they say, hey, my money is coming. It's like,
about the kind of artists who, in some parlance, we may say is underground. They're now starting out and they need an agent or they need management. They need someone to show them the ropes and so that they can just create and then the business side can be sorted. How does a person like that access what they need without being taken advantage of or without even, you know, having the knowledge that, oh, this is the right person I need to work with at this time?
I think it's, sorry to say, a lack of education. And when I say education, I don't mean formal education. I just mean knowledge on what you are doing. You know, a carpenter becomes an apprentice for a long time to become a carpenter. In our industry, I can paint, so I'm a painter. I can sing, so I'm a singer. No, you are in training. You actually need to learn. Have you read the contract that you're signing? Do you understand the contract? Have you researched what a manager's job is, what an executive producer's job is, what an event organizer's job is? Do you know what a show reel is? Do you understand that when somebody books you for a show, you must send a technical rider and a hospitality rider? Do you know these things? If you don't know it, why don't you? Because you have the same internet that you use to scroll on TikTok, can also go on Google. Why don't you? ChatGPT is for free. So when somebody sends you a contract, you don't even need to go and pay a lawyer. Put that document in ChatGPT and say, interpret this contract for a 1-year-old. And it will. So, like, what is our excuse? You know, in my era, I'm not trying to say I'm old. Don't let the gray hair deceive you. I'm a young boy.
I know you're me too, so.
Please, I'm 38 and proud. But in my era, when I wanted information, I needed to go and buy an encyclopedia. If I want to find out about the pyramids in Egypt, I need to go and buy encyclopedia to look up Egypt.
And you even have to look at different years to get the newer information.
Thank you. Yeah. When I started out with sound engineering, I had to go and buy a book for HZ for sound engineering. And Ghana 2 was behind. So I was buying this book in 2003, but what I got was the 1994 version.
Oh, Lord.
So I was 9 years behind on the information. But right now, anything that comes out, like you don't even need to go to Google. Go to YouTube, TikTok. There are TikTok tutorials on how to be the perfect Cubase SX producer. So how are you an artist? You are sitting in the studio and your producer is stepping out and he says, "Oh, boss, loop the music for me," and you don't know
what to do.
Are we finding out enough about the things that we are doing? We keep wanting. I saw something when I was on my way here. There was a line for people who want to change versus people who want things to change. And everybody went to people who want things to change. No one wants to change. So how are things going to change? Start empowering yourself. You say you're an underground artist, which means the established artists already have a leg up. They are already there. They are popular. How can you have less knowledge than them? The time that you have, they don't have time because they're going from studio to interview to touring to all this. The time that you have to sit there, learn so that you can outthink them. I doubt that the biggest artists right now are adept with AI because they don't have time. So you, the new artist,
you have no excuse.
You should be AI technician.
So, and I'm very glad you're talking about some of these things. I don't think that a lot of young artists who get into the business, everybody wants to be a superstar. Yeah. That's unfortunately that's how it starts. Yeah. I speak to a lot of young people who want to do music, who want to do art, and usually it's, "Oh, I was told I have a nice voice," or, "Oh, I want to be like this person." Yeah. Very rarely do I hear someone say, "Oh, I'm passionate about music and I want to tell these stories and that's why I'm doing it," which is okay, right? We all have our wants and our needs and our aspirations. But the question I have for you, Richie, is, you've given so much great advice, but a lot of these people don't realize that music is actually a full-time job.
Yep, it is.
So for a young person who is now getting into it, what does a typical day of a musician who is doing this as a business look like?
Okay. So if you're a singer, voice training. In fact, even if you're a rapper, voice training. Because have you heard Sarkodie? Sarkodie's voice.
Smooth.
Thank you. Voice training every single day. You need to do interview training. You need to work on your looks. What I mean, your grooming, look in the mirror for how you sit, your better side and everything. Research, open your mind. For instance, you can't be a good songwriter if you don't know the world. What are you going to write about? Lollipops every day? No, you need to learn. Read. Do you know who Caesar is? Do you know who Napoleon is? Do you know Aristotle? Like, you can't just say, "I'm a singer," and then every day you're doing... No. Read, learn, grow. And one thing that you need to work on is your discipline, right? Because it's the tiny, tiny actions that you take that will help you to become great. People think there's someone, like if you ask me, "Richie, what was that thing you did that made your career?" I have no idea. It was all the tiny, tiny things that I did. And very important, this is not even a daily action, but it's a mentality I want to kill in people's minds. Kill all entitlements.
Kill all entitlement.
So many people in my industry are entitled. We believe we deserve this. Why was this not given? Why did I not get this award? Why is it that they
creatives tend to be a little bit pompous and conceited.
Yes. Kill the entitlement. Have the self-confidence, but kill the entitlement. What do you mean? Why is BET award given to us backstage? I remember this thing was an eye-opener for me. I had a meeting in 2008, early 2008. This is when Link started to bubble. Then I went to a meeting at African Regions. And the marketing manager had never heard about Links. She didn't know me. She didn't know Asem. She didn't know Gimme Blow. She didn't know Freeman, nothing, right?
Wow.
And this is at the time where,
we had reached.
Yeah, we reached. And when she said this, she was apologizing that, "I'm sorry, I don't know." I said, "No. If you don't know me, it means I haven't done my work to get to you. Kill the entitlement. Why should I assume they should know me? If I realize that I haven't entered a certain corner, my question should be, what do I need to do to get there? So if Ghanaian music isn't going international or we're not being awarded on some award scheme or something, stop thinking that, we deserve it. No, what do I need to do to get them to recognize me?"
All right, so we've been speaking to Richie Mensah. He's the founder and the CEO of Links Group Limited, the man, the myth, and the enigma, as I like to call him, giving us some great insights into the business of music here in Ghana and beyond. And if you're a musician and you've been listening to us, do find out about the work that Links is doing. Tap into some of the services that Richie outlined earlier, and you will thank me later. This has been the Citi Business Festival On Air series. We're doing this in collaboration with Absa Bank Limited, and we have some amazing sponsors: MTN Business, Gersal, AMG Fertilizers, Insano Limited, and Agri Impact. My name is Apioko. Stay tuned to 97.3 Citi FM.
The city's biggest conversation.
Are you a builder, contractor, or homeowner with a passion for quality? Look no further. At Yale, we pride ourselves in trusted security and quality hardware for doors. Visit our showroom on 11th Lane Street in Accra, Ghana, and discover the world of Yale door hardware handles and locks. At Yale, we understand your need for security and the desire for elegance. Our products not only protect your loved ones, but also add a touch of sophistication to your home or business. Whether you're renovating your space or crafting a new masterpiece, Yale is your trusted partner with a history of 180 years of innovation. Come on down to Yale today. Experience the perfect blend of security and style with Yale. Yale, where security meets style.
1xBet is offering a mind-blowing hyper bonus. Get ready for a gaming experience like no other. Place an accumulator bet and watch your winning soar with our 1000% bonus. That's right, 1000%. So what are you waiting for? Visit 1xBet.com.gh today. Use promo code HYPERGHANA to get a 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedi and take advantage of unbeatable hyper bonus from 1xBet. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
9:54, and we have our friends from Askia Immigration Consulting Services in the studio to talk more about the Askia free webinar that is coming up for all of you who are interested in traveling to Canada. We want to really teach you what you need to know so you don't fall prey to fraud. So that's where Felicia Awenam Chekuma comes in, right? Felicia, good morning to you and welcome to the studio.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Great. So you are an immigration support specialist with Askia Immigration Consulting Services.
That's right.
What does that mean? What do you do?
Yes, so basically I support the immigration program, and so we help people who wants to make their decision to study, work, who wants to visit Canada, who wants to immigrate, who wants to sponsor their family members. And so basically that's what we do. So everything Canada, we support them to have the reality of their dreams.
Amazing. Now you're going to have a webinar, right? You're having a webinar soon to teach people about fraud, and you're basically creating awareness around fraud. Tell me more about this webinar and who can be part of this.
Okay, so this webinar is free. And the webinar is basically creating an awareness on immigration fraud.
Okay.
So this webinar is being put together by the BARCICs. So the BARCICs, in short, means that Black Africanist Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultants.
Okay.
So this is a professional network of regulated immigration consultants and lawyers, as well as regulated educational advisors who have come together to put their expertise together on a very common platform to network, to co-counsel, to also educate each other. So it's like a network of experts who are there to advocate on immigration matters, such that the immigration process, the laws and policies are fair and equitable to everyone who wants to have access to it.
So where is this happening, and when will it be, and what time?
So this webinar is free.
Okay.
It is online. and it's happening this Saturday.
It's virtual.
It's virtual.
I don't have to move from my home. I can just join in.
Not at all.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it's happening this Saturday at 8 p.m.
Right.
So everybody can join on Facebook by just looking up BARCIC.
BARCIC.
Right. Or you can reach out to Askia Immigration Consulting Firm, and they would give you the directions on how to register.
So June 22 is this Saturday.
This Saturday.
And you're saying that at 8 p.m. live on Facebook, BARCIC, we'll get to hear from lawyers, immigration consultants, very experienced people. They will share with us all the red flags we see from agencies who promise us heaven. Because at the end of the day, people get to Canada and they get screwed, right?
That's correct. So these are people who deal on a daily basis with people's immigration cases, and so they live the experience of the emotional distress. They live the experience of the financial loss that the people go through because they are being defrauded. And so they are bringing together their experience. So this is a real-time webinar that is going to teach you even